This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, how the heck are you? The Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. I tell you every single day, man, you've been in an accident. Did you get hurt at work? There is not a workman's comp issue they have not seen. And you know what I love about the Advocates? They're always working in their communities. They are always giving back, which is why they are partnered with The Road Home, one of the foremost homeless advocacy groups in the country. And here on the Monty Show, you know how much we try to get back to the kids. This is one of those opportunities for you to do that. I appreciate that times are tight for everybody. I appreciate that we are all, really trying to find ways to put money in our own pockets. But there are kindergartners and middle school kids and high schoolers who don't have socks or shoes to wear to school, so they don't go. They don't have proper clothing, underwear to wear to school, so they don't learn the way they should. The Advocates partner with their own home to change that. I ask you, hey, man, if you've got $1, if you got $5, if you got $1 million, please give it to the Advocates on Venmo. You see it on the screen there. Advocates donations on Venmo. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Tell them, hey, here's $5 for the kids to get back to school. We really appreciate you doing that. All right, hello. I see everybody here today. Good to see you. Big shout out, as always, to our first ones in. Preston Dorfeld is the first one in today.
Okay, a new name emerges.
Let's go,
okay.
Preston. Love that. Mike Chase. Mike, how's the TV? Good to see you. Too much gravy for my biscuits, otherwise known as Better Call Saul. Says, hey, yo, 2 hacks, hump day, I'm turd in.
Yeah.
Laura Weiss, Jay Chapman, OG Gary, Kaufman, Tanner Plummer, who told me I was stupid for saying anything remotely detractory, which is not a word. I was dumb and foolish and uninformed and unattractive for saying anything negative about Oppenheimer. So Tanner goes and sees Oppenheimer and was like, nah. And what did I say about Oppenheimer? Meh. Yeah, okay. Whatever you say, sir. Lopes fan Gabe, how the heck are you? Everybody hit the like button on the Monty Show. Let's get down to business talking about the Pac-12. Have you guys noticed a narrative has changed?
There's been a shift in the force.
In all seriousness, have you guys noticed the talking points from the shills for the Pac-12 have changed significantly? And you can tell that there are some people who actually now acknowledge that Colorado has spoken to the Big 12.
Oh, what are you talking about, man?
As we have told you for months on this show, every member of this conference, all 10 remaining teams, have spoken to, on varying degrees of levels, the Big 12. Every member of the Pac-12 has spoken to the Big 12. Some of them have been more productive.
Pete Thamel just tweeted, Colorado's in discussions with the Big 12. Literally can't make it up.
Well, you know what? I think it's interesting. I had a conversation with a source, and let me see if I can clip that for you. Pete Thamel says, sources, Colorado is in discussions about a move to the Big 12. And the school has just completed a board meeting and scheduled another for tomorrow to discuss the move. The Big 12 is also holding a president's meeting tonight where there is expected to be an expansion update. I can tell you, talking to sources really in the TV industry and beyond, Colorado has always been the one who's most likely to jump. And as we have said, I won't believe it until I see it. But if it is at all surprising to you that Colorado is having discussions today about moving to the the Big 12 from the Pac-12, I think you've just had your head in the sand. And we have tried to explain this to 1,001 people, and mostly Utah fans, but many fans tend to get upset about the fact that you have real substantive discussions going on between Pac-12 members and Brett Yormark and his committees and his people. But here's the question that I ask you. Why wouldn't you, if you're Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, Washington State, Stanford and Cal, why wouldn't you talk to Brett Yormark and his staff? I've never understood this dominant perspective that never, ever.
Like it's criminal.
And it's just the destruction of the conference. Nothing else could be further from the truth. In fact, you should be terminated if you do not take his call.
Mm-hmm.
Should be terminated. We talked about this yesterday on the show. We've talked about this for months. We've told you just about every school in this conference has admitted on the record or off that they have spoken to Brett Yormark, as they should. This is not surprising. And when you look at what's going on at Colorado, they have now scheduled a full public board meeting tomorrow, which, and let me update you, they have to do it in public.
Mm-hmm.
The meeting today was a behind closed door executive session. They have to do this in public. So they had their private session today. They will have their public session tomorrow. And this should be of no surprise. Are you now more in the camp, Jake, that Colorado's leaving? Like, where do you come down on this?
Well, I'm now definitely in the camp that, we've been proper and right with Colorado. We've been telling you that Colorado, should be talking to the Big 12, and then secondarily would be a good fit back in the Big 12. And I think that, again, there's a lot happening in Colorado. There's no question about it. Like when you look at, Deion Sanders' first year as their head football coach. I mean, that's timing wise. When you look at, okay, if they were to go to the Big 12, next year, let's say, that's a hell of a move for what would be a second year head coach. So when I look at what we're getting out of Pete Thamel, when I look, and see that there's a public meeting tomorrow, like, yeah, this is the process. This is the process. This is the way they have to do it. There's no surprises here. At the same time, I'm with you when you say I'll believe it when I see it, because I do think it's a huge move. I do think we're no longer just talking about the Pac-12. I think we're talking about college football in the big picture, because, again, this has always been the conversation. I mean, for the people who have been listening to this show, Grum, for, the better part of 6 months now or a year, let's say, we've talked at length about, okay, if the Pac-12 were to melt down, not that I'm saying I think it will, but if it were to melt down, this would really be the first time we've seen a Power 5, big boy conference collapse. And I'm not saying if Colorado leaves that's going to happen, but what I am for sure saying is that if Colorado were to go to the Big 12, that is the first step to a conference collapsing, because now the door is open. Hey, Colorado's gone. All right, now is Jed Fish in Arizona leaving? Now, does that then mean that ASU is leaving? And by the way, now that the Big 12 is adding Pac-12 schools, does that mean the Big 10 is out for Oregon and Washington, Stanford, and Cal? That's what starts to happen. That's why I say, hey, yeah, this is the process they have to follow. But in my mind goes right to, okay, big picture conference health. Because if one team leaves, that opens the door to big time departures.
And there is the meeting on the calendar at Colorado. There is no agenda posted as yet. This is the Colorado Board of Regents will hold a special board meeting. They are saying that this will be a Zoom meeting and all of the public are welcome. It is a public meeting from 3 to 4. I can tell you right now, just getting a landfall of text messages, not to be covert about this, but one of our best sources in television says that Colorado has had substantive talks with Brett Yormark over the last 10 months. And 10 months, including before Deion Sanders was hired, and that Colorado and the Big 12 have talked on nearly a daily basis for the last 2 weeks, and that Brett Yormark has extended an opportunity to go to the Big 12 and is expected tomorrow that this will be the subject matter. It is not clear if tomorrow there will be an announcement post-meeting, but it sure does seem like this has been a lot in the making, and you see this graphic here. And again, there is no, I am looking right at the site. There is no agenda posted for this meeting. And as soon as they post one, I will grab it for you. But Jake, I think there is no doubt in my mind that you are looking at Colorado now. And I apologize. 1,001 people are texting me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the situation is pretty clear here, right? I mean, based on what, the information we're getting literally as you're watching the show, the behavior we've seen out of Colorado the last 10 months or year, as I like to say, it's pretty clear. I mean, again, changing conferences doesn't happen overnight, right? And I think that to change a conference, you got to build a relationship. And I think that relationship obviously was there before when Colorado was in the Big 12. Obviously new commissioner, some things have changed, right? But you still have those ties in a sense. And I think that was, to me, that was always the sort of starting point. Hey, we were there before. Would we be open to going back again? Anytime you've done it once, you're open to doing it again. And I think once you start to understand just how effective Brett Yormark is and just how not effective your current situation and your current commissioner is, I think it becomes a much more attractive proposition. I mean, and again, we've taken a lot of heat on this show for talking about the idea and the concept that, hey, all these schools are talking to Brett Yormark. And everyone's like, no, you guys, getting told the other day on the phone that, we're irresponsible and we don't know what the hell we're talking about. And, we're just the hacks on YouTube. Only to have it come out that they've been talking for 10 months, that they built a relationship, that now they're going to have a public meeting tomorrow. Like it's wild. The ball wild. Is rolling down the yellow brick road.
And again, this is in real time. Just reading my text messages. This person has information that it's now a formality pending the procedural process
that they will go
to the Big 12.
Well,
and and you guys can go, if you just go to Google search Colorado Board of Regents, you will see that there are they have a calendar where you can look at all the agendas and all the meetings. And the agenda for today is posted, but there is no agenda posted for tomorrow. And I will, again, keep this up to date. You guys, I think now it is a very real time to ask. If you look at the title of the show today, we've been hearing this and we've been getting drips of information over the last 24 hours that this was the inevitable. So here's my question. Is the Pac-12 now facing a mass exodus? Because if this is indeed the case, and if Colorado truly leaves the conference a year from now, and if we hear tomorrow after this meeting, which is now 23 hours away, it is scheduled for 3 o'clock Mountain tomorrow, a public meeting. And I want to stress this. This is a hugely important detail. Colorado cannot do anything without a public meeting. They had an executive session, a non-public meeting today. They have to, in order to take action, do these things out in the light, which is a public meeting. They now have it scheduled for tomorrow. There is no agenda at this point.
Facts.
But our sources are telling us, and Pete Thamel is tweeting about this now. I believe Brett McMurphy is tweeting about this now, that Colorado is, in fact, going through the procedural motions of moving to the Big 12. This is a big fucking deal. This changes everything. This changes the shape and the landscape of the conference. I think if there is a vote tomorrow, if there is a vote by the end of the week, if there is an announcement by the end of the week, which now would not be surprising, you have to really worry about a landslide. And one of the things that I will point you to, and Jake, I know we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Look at the way, you guys, the narrative has changed. Look at John Wilner in the San Jose Mercury News. This is I think hit piece is strong. This headline is attached to an article that is 100% anti-Colorado. Negative, liberals in California, like super negative. But look at the headline. John Wilner, Pac-12 survival, Colorado's conundrum, and the unique challenges facing the unique challenge of a bolder existence. Look at the radio wizard behind the curtain in Portland. Colorado getting a test of its patience with the Pac-12. Lots of pressure on them from the inside and outside, which I can tell you is absolutely not true. Colorado, the idea that outside forces are pressuring Colorado is, I can tell you, 100% not true.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even begin to think of an outside force that would be pressuring them.
Well, what this is, and what the Pac-12 talking heads are trying to allude to, is that there are people who are trying to pressure Colorado to stay. I can tell you, Colorado 4 months, and I know that, again, as you said, we've gotten crushed by every Pac-12 fan every time we say this. Colorado, this is not new for this isn't a couple of weeks ago. This isn't related to, and I know that this, again, pisses everybody off. Colorado to the Big 12 is not related to the last 12 months of TV strife. Colorado hired Deion Sanders, in many people's opinion, to get to the Big 12. They knew, because of their dreadful performance in athletics, that they would need a game changer. So what did they do? They hired Deion Sanders, but how did they hire Deion Sanders? By agreeing to completely change the admittance process for athletics.
Yeah.
Which Phil DiStefano, the chancellor at Colorado, did.
And give him credit.
And absolutely give him credit. Because I think that this is a very rare occasion. And I hope everybody understands this as well. This is an incredibly rare occasion. An incredibly rare occasion. And you are seeing it play out in front of your eyes. When you mismanage and are not, and I'm being careful because I don't want to say that George Kliavkoff, in my opinion, has lied to his constituents. But when you are not forthcoming and you are not honest with your constituents about the process in the TV negotiations, and I don't believe for a second, in my opinion, that George Kliavkoff took every offer he got to the executive committee. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I have heard it multiple times, but I don't believe that he tabled every offer he got.
Yeah.
And I think today, this Colorado news today is bigger, and it feels bigger because this is a culmination of, I think, 10 months. This is the culmination since, go back and watch our show last August.
Yeah.
Go back and watch our show last September. Go back and watch our shows in October. We've been talking about this. This conference is not aligned. They are not together. When you hear George Kliavkoff talking about how, hey, everybody's in lockstep. Bullshit, they're not.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody is committed to this conference. They're not.
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
They're not. And I can tell you that you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of leeway now. Because while I don't for a second believe, and I think we've debated this on the show as well, I don't for a second believe that Colorado leaving is a death knell for this conference.
What do you believe?
But here's the problem that I have with Colorado leaving the Pac-12. I think they take Arizona with them. And if Arizona goes, Arizona State's going to have a very difficult time making the case to the Arizona Board of Regents that they should stay and Arizona should go. And while the Arizona Board of Regents cannot stop those two, Arizona and Arizona State, from acting autonomously or separately, it'd be really foolish for Arizona and Arizona State to act independently. They're a strong, strong voice in any conference when they are together and aligned. And right now, frankly, they are not. They are not together and aligned. Arizona State wants to stay in the conference, and I believe wholeheartedly, and Jed Fish confirmed it, and Bobby Robbins confirmed it essentially, they're not committed to the Pac-12. They're committed to what's best for you, Arizona. And you can't blame them for that. But I'll also say, non-coincidentally, Jake almost, had a Mitch McConnell moment today. Okay, too soon?
Yeah, too soon.
Probably my bad.
Yeah, Buddy almost died.
No, he did not. Jake almost lost himself over this picture right here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys understand what this picture is? This is the Ohio State Buckeyes mascot on Instagram. Verified account. 30,000 followers.
Yeah.
Well, why is the Buckeye at Autzen Stadium with the Oregon Duck? And why does the caption on this say big things coming? Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think if you've listened to this show for more than 12 seconds, you know that.
Great, because I am.
That's your hucklebearer right there.
I'm right here, everybody.
That's your
I'm
boy.
right here.
But this now seems a little suspect.
Infowars.com.
And again, not if you're new to the show, I'm going to tell you what I've reported in the past about Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal going to the Big Ten, because I think this is a significant moment in time. We got news, and forgive me because now I can't remember who reported it, that Oregon and Washington had been vetted and cleared to join the Big Ten. We didn't know what that meant either. So we started calling our sources in television. And we were told point blank, it's not Oregon and Washington. Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal were viewed as a package by the Big Ten. And the Big Ten vetted and cleared those four with its TV partners. And what that means is they went to Fox, CBS, and NBC, and really, based on the way the contract is written, they went to CBS and they went to NBC, and they said, hey, are you willing to pay more money if we are able to add Stanford and Cal, Oregon and Washington?
Yes.
CBS and NBC, I am told, with excitement, said, yes, absolutely, we will do that. And I am told, and we reported on the show, months ago now, I guess. Months ago now.
It was, off the top of my head, I think it was somewhere around March, I believe that was. Something like that.
Months ago. That the only thing that the Big Ten was waiting for was Tony Petitti, their commissioner, who, by the way, comes from NBC, TV guy. They were waiting for him to get his feet on the ground, and they were waiting for the Pac-12 situation to either resolve itself or present an opportunity. And now, I don't necessarily believe that you're a conspiracy theorist, because you look at this picture now, and it feels a little more serious.
Yeah, my big picture thing here, the point that I want to make is that everybody in all the P5 conferences, and let's throw out the ACC because they're not really involved in this, in my opinion, but certainly the Big Ten and the Big 12 have been waiting for the door to open. And that door opening is one of the Pac-12 schools making a decision to leave, right? Because, again, nobody wanted to be seen as a, quote, raider of the Pac-12. We heard that, too, earlier this year. If you remember, sometime, again, around that March, April timeline, we were told that nobody wanted to be seen as the conference or the commissioner or the admin office of a conference that was going out and basically poaching schools from other conferences and being an asshole about it, for lack of a better term. And so everybody's been waiting. But while they've been waiting, what's been happening? Well, they've all been talking behind the scenes. So when I hear, hey, Colorado and Brett Yormark have been talking for 10 months, I'm not surprised, right? Because, again, to switch conferences, you got to form relationships. You have to get structure in place. You got to get planning in place. And then you can execute, executive meetings today and public meetings tomorrow. So when I look at the Pac-12, and then I see the Pac-12 situation with Colorado going to the Big 12, and then I see the official account, verified 30,000 followers, like he said, of the Buckeyes mascot at Autzen with Oregon's mascot, that to me, and again, just my opinion, could be way off, that to me is a confirmation that the Big Ten is waiting for the Pac to begin to crumble. And that it is possible, not saying it's going to happen, but it is possible that we could see Colorado, the Arizona schools, and hopefully, right, I'd love to see Utah in that group, jump to the Big 12, the 4 up north go to the Big 10, and the Pac-12's done. Because I just think it's too swift, it's too easy, it's too logical, it makes too much sense, right? TV partners are on board. The schools are on board. Like, there's nothing, like, why wouldn't you? What's standing in the way? Why would you not go and make more money? Why would you not build stronger relationships? Why would you not put yourself in a better position to succeed? And so the only question for me really remains, hey, what does a school like Oregon State in this scenario do? What does Washington State do? That's really, for me, in my opinion, the only question that remains at this point. If tomorrow or in the next, coming days, Colorado goes to the Big 12. Because once that happens, once we get that announcement, I think you're going to see an avalanche of movement, because I think that's the first thing that needs to happen. So, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I am told this source of mine that I am texting with is telling me that the executive committee, the chancellor's office, the athletic director, and all heads of departments in sports concur with a move to the Big 12. Yeah. So they're aligned on it. There is no question that they are aligned on it. There is no question that this meeting tomorrow is a big deal. And if you're just tuning in, we have breaking news for you today. Colorado, the Board of Regents met in an executive session today to discuss moving to the Big 12, leaving the Pac-12 to move to the Big 12. Our sources are telling us that they have scheduled a Board of Regents meeting for tomorrow to discuss this in open session, which is a mandatory step, a mandatory procedural step. They must do this. If they want to move, they have to talk about it in a public session. That is now scheduled for tomorrow. I see it on the schedule. There is not an agenda posted as yet. I continue to look for that, but that is not posted. The latest agenda is for today's executive session meeting. But again, we have it on their calendar. A special board meeting is scheduled for tomorrow at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. And again, I just want to reiterate, I think if Colorado goes, it is not the end of the world for the Big 12 or the Pac-12. It becomes problematic, and it becomes advantageous for the Big 12, problematic for the Pac-12 if Arizona makes that jump as well. If Colorado is somehow able to, and it's funny because we've kept in touch with the folks at Utah. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Utah is going to make the move, at least not in this first round, because we've also been told by sources in the conference that it won't just be one team that goes.
Yeah.
It will not. I think if you are Bobby Robbins right now, and one of the questions I'm trying to get an answer to is, are you telling me that Colorado has informed the Pac-12 that they are doing this? And I was told that there is no Pete Thamel now confirming exactly what I told you 5 minutes ago. Colorado is in discussions about leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12. There is a just completed board meeting and one scheduled for tomorrow on the topic. There is Big 12 presidents meeting tonight, which will cover expansion per our sources. That's exactly what we told you 5 minutes ago.
So they're both on the. So do you guys see what I mean when I say, hey, it's all organized and it's all moving properly, right? This is a well-oiled machine They're executing the steps. The Big 12's ready to go. We're ready. Like there's just nothing here that says nope, this isn't going to work. And so my only question again is, hey, tomorrow if they announce they're going to the Big 12, what comes of recent board member addition of the Pac-12, Bobby Robbins at Arizona? Right? Like, what do we get out of these other schools?
Very interesting. I'm also being told to keep an eye on Oregon State. That Oregon State has had deep discussions with Brett Yormark's team about moving to the Big 12. The Big 12 has a preference to take a single group of teams, not to double dip, to use the language of the source I'm talking to.
Brett McMurphy also tweeting on this just now, 2 minutes ago, says, obviously there's a meeting tomorrow, expected to discuss and approve a move to the Big 12. It's 98%, a source of his told him.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
It's going around now.
This is procedural.
Yeah.
This is, and not that, again, I'm not telling you, hey, we're always right. You guys are always assholes. I'm not telling you that. But we've been telling you this for a while. This is procedural now. And I think I will maintain what I've been saying. Let's wait until it happens. Because that's the only time I'm going to believe it, when this actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to turn a nose to turn a nose down to this now. It is difficult. And I think the Pac-12, and again, this is why we titled the show this, I think the Pac-12 is in real jeopardy now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, and I've asked another TV source of mine, I just have not heard back yet, does this paralyze the Pac-12's current negotiations with its TV partners?
Well, doesn't it have to? I mean, again, that's the other disadvantage here. Because remember, just generally speaking, right, no matter what the conference is, anytime you add or subtract schools from that current agreement, you got to renegotiate, right? You got to reapprove or just like re-up the agreement. So I'm sitting here as you're giving us this information, thinking about what have we seen the last week in the Pac-12? Well, we saw George Kliavkoff's performance at Media Day, which did not go well. For those of you who haven't seen it, go find it, or we can play some again or whatever. But that didn't go well. I think about, the call that we got from a certain individual yesterday that told us, hey, you guys are irresponsible with what you're reporting. You guys are hating on the Pac-12 or whatever. And now, the very next day, pretty much everything we've been saying, and again, not to be that guy, but everything we've been saying about Colorado and some of these other schools is starting to come true. And so I almost feel like yesterday at the conference, they were doing damage control because they knew this meeting was today, and they know the meeting's tomorrow, and they can see what's happening. So, yeah, I think the TV contract, to be honest with you, is the least of their problems. I wonder now if the struggle with getting the TV deal done has simply been that schools like Colorado or, an Oregon State or an Arizona have put this thing on ice because they're trying to vet an opportunity. And I have to say, I can't blame them. Once again, why would you turn down an opportunity to be in a better situation? Why deal with this? Why deal with the yapping dog, in my opinion, and George Kliavkoff and the whole situation when you can get to a better conference with better leadership and more prosperous future?
Yeah,
why would you not do that?
I don't know. So, again, because I see a lot of people jumping on the show, our sources have told us that it is, and clearly people are watching the show, because another source tells me, Monty, it's not 98%, it's done. I am telling you, it's procedural.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That's a pretty good, that's a high place source. I think it is one of those things where you have to figure out I think you have to figure out, if you're the Pac-12, how to react to this.
And by the way, we've never seen this in college football. The threat of a conference dying.
Yeah,
I think people understand that.
I think we are very close to that because, you look at the fact that Colorado has been given, according to our source, a verbal invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the fact that, and still no agenda posted, Pete Thamel tweeting again. ESPN spoke to Colorado AD Rick George on Tuesday. He declined to comment. And one of the things that's interesting is what we talk about Rick George on last Friday. What did Rick George do last Friday at Pac-12 Media Day?
Peace out.
He left. He did not talk to the media, did not want to talk to the media.
Pack everything up. We're
But
out of here.
our sources have told us that over the last 10 days, 10 to 14 days, Colorado and the Big 12 have had much more substantial, fruitful conversations about getting this done. There are a lot of people who are saying that, hey, this is because of George Kliavkoff's performance at Pac-12 Media Day. It was not. It was. My sourcing has not confirmed that. I don't believe that's the case. I think this is a 10-month-long process. I think this has been something that they have been talking to Deion Sanders about since before they hired him. I think they have been talking to George Kliavkoff since at least October, in my opinion. I think that's where this goes back to. I think that this is simply a matter of procedure, and they have been trying to wait and wait because, again, I will say, and I know people are going to lose their shit over it, but the truth is the truth. Nobody wants to leave this conference. It is not financially a windfall for Colorado to jump to the Big 12 by any stretch. But depending on what this TV deal could be or would have been, it would have been close. I think the issue is that Colorado is just burned out. They regret leaving the Big 8 at the time, Big 12, all those years ago, 2011?
Yeah.
I think they are much like Nebraska, who has voiced frustration and has undoubtedly regretted leaving the Big 12 for the Big 10, and everybody says, well, look at all the money they've made, and they are irrelevant.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about Nebraska. And Matt Rule may change that, I don't know. But Colorado has been working for, I think, the better part of the last 10 months, according to my sources, to get this done. I think Deion Sanders was a huge part of that. I can tell you, I talked to people around Christmas time who have said, hey, Colorado knows what it needs to do to get into the Big 12. I think they've done everything you would like them to do. They have invested in infrastructure. They have changed their academic standards. They have hired Deion Sanders. They have absolutely changed their narratives. And I think one of the things that was important to Brett Yormark in this situation, and I tried to get confirmation from people in the Big 12 on this, but obviously they're not talking about it. Brett Yormark wants nothing to do with, the negative and screw the Pac-12 and George Kliavkoff's an asshat, or he wants nothing to do with that. I think what you're going to see, if it's just Colorado or if it's multiple teams in the conference, they're going to tip their cap to the Pac-12. Hey, we tried. It was a great experience for us, but we have to do what we have to do to secure our future. We have to do what's best for our students and our staff and our universities. I think that's the message you're going to hear, because I'm told that this is scripted and this is exactly what Brett Yormark wants. He does not want animus, and I will go back to what I said about the Big Ten. The Big Ten does not want to be seen as that conference that gutted the Pac-12, and they take those 4 teams, and all of a sudden there's an avalanche of teams to the Big 12. The Big Ten wanted nothing to do with that. But I would note also that Oregon State is a team and a university we have talked about on this show for months and months. And I have told you, watch Oregon State. They are in the Pacific time zone. They give you brand new football facilities. This is already a really strong basketball conference in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Brett Yormark, I think, wants to add to football, and then I think he will add Gonzaga as well, who we have exclusively reported on this show already has a verbal invite, but they did not want to make that move when that invite was given. I'm telling you, this is the beginning. It's not the end. And I think you're going to see, my guess would be by the end of this week, which is obviously today is Wednesday, by Friday close of business, I think Colorado's in the Big 12. I think there's a real good chance Arizona comes with, and I would really keep an eye I'd really keep an eye on Oregon State.
And I think this concept of conferences or institutions saving face is real. I think that conferences don't want to. They want to expand. They obviously want to make more money, as much money as possible, but they want to do it in the right way. They want to do it in the a way that is keeps them in a good light, a positive light. They don't want to be seen as a destroyer or a negative influencer. They want to be able to say, hey, well, like with the Big Ten as an example. Well, we didn't start the destruction of the Pac-12.
That's not
right?
me.
Like I didn't like the bomb that ended the conference. Right? That was Brett. Ask Brett about that, not Tony.
But again, I also think they're not to kill the Big 12 buzz that's clearly going around right now, but this is a tragedy, man. Like, this is a shocking end to the current incarnation of the Pac-12. If you think about what this conference should have been all those years ago, this is a shocking, shocking end. And talking to sources in the TV industry, a lot of sources have said they lost ESPN when they would not make a deal at the end of Larry Scott's tenure with Google or with DirecTV, because it was thought that DirecTV had acquiesced a little bit and Larry had a deal in place and the Pac-12 wouldn't do it. Larry wouldn't close that deal.
Yeah.
Because Larry Scott had autonomy to do whatever he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose not to do that. And I think that's where all of this, if this happens with Colorado by Friday, and I think it will, I think that's where this started.
And I do agree this is a culmination of 10 years of just awful decision-making.
And frustration.
I mean, I think it's everything from the penthouses and private jets with Larry Scott to George Kliavkoff continuing to embarrass the conference with public speaking.
Yes.
And again, I tend to agree. If you take commissioners out of it and you just look at pure football and you look at geography, this had potential to be like I have no problem saying the Pac-12 should have been a better conference than the SEC, in my opinion. You have better geography. You have strong brands. If you had good leadership, you would be able to overtake. You would be able to put yourself right at the top of the stack of the Power Fives. But what's held them back? The leadership pool in the Pac-12, the arrogance, the pride, right? Everything from saying no to BYU to not doing deals with ESPN or DirecTV and Google. And then on top of that, all the real estate issues. Like, there's a whole laundry list of bad decision making here that ultimately has taken down or is in the process of taking down, right? To be accurate, a conference that really should be a juggernaut in the space, and it's really. I know there's probably a lot of you who are like, well, look, that this is kind of what they deserve. This is what they had coming to them. This is kind of like the inevitability of the Pac-12. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. But on the other side of the coin, I think you have to understand that we've never seen this in college football. We've never seen a P5 just melt down, just dissolve into thin air. And I think the Pac-12 is very close to that, because I don't think it takes much. At this point, Colorado essentially being gone, all but procedural, them being gone, Arizona and ASU potentially following right behind them, and we're hearing smoke and rumors around Oregon State. I mean, that's 4 teams right there, and we haven't even gotten to Oregon and Washington yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? We haven't even gotten to the most premier brands in your conference. So for me, I just think, again, Colorado is the door opening, right? Arizona and ASU would be the other door opening, and then everyone's going to walk through it.
Well, I have a little more breaking news for you as well about this situation in the Pac-12. I am told that Oregon, Arizona, and Oregon State all have now scheduled Board of Trustees meetings for tomorrow or Friday. I am working to confirm that. I honestly don't know how. I don't know how you find. And let's see. People are DMing me. Let's
Chaos.
see. Let's see. We'll see what we'll see what happens. But Oregon, in fact, does have a public meeting scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You see what I mean?
But they do have subject matter listed on their website. And I can tell you, I'm looking at their website right now, and I will screen grab this. It has nothing to do with the conference. Authority to expand facilities, related resources at Portland campuses. Like, this is turning into a thing now. And I don't know if this Oregon meeting, I am told that Arizona is going to have an emergency session. Here is this is right off of the Oregon notice of public meeting. There it is right there. Thank you, Lopes fan Gabe, who also thank you, Terry, who sent that to me as well. This is where you start worrying about a landslide.
Yep.
This is where you start worrying about, and it's odd that that's the title of the show today.
Yeah, again, remember, just because I just want to make this clear. We titled the show and did the thumbnail and set up the show at like 1 o'clock Mountain, and what Pete Thamel tweeted 15 minutes ago. So it's funny how the momentum is clearly here. I still maintain we haven't reached the peak of this conversation.
No, we have not.
I think the peak of this conversation, is the aftermath. So once we get clarity on who all is leaving, and I maintain it's a lot. It's most of the conference, in my opinion. No one's told us that, but in my opinion, I think most of the conference is going to leave once Colorado makes it official. That's the peak of the conversation, because now we're not talking about San Diego State and SMU. And by the way, I just have to say, and I know we're past the San Diego State thing. This makes San Diego State look even worse, in my opinion. You were trying to get involved with a conference that now seemingly is on the verge of burning to the ground.
Yeah, this is a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a good look. And so that's why I say, Gloria Navarez, I think it was earlier today, did an interview where she basically said that we're past the days of any team being married up to a conference for decades at a time. And I don't necessarily agree with Gloria on that. I think teams are married to conferences that do business the right way and do it in a way that benefits their member institutions as often as possible. Yeah. The Pac-12 doesn't do that. The ACC certainly doesn't do that, but the Big Ten does that. The SEC does that, and the Big 12 is certainly doing that now. So you notice which schools are trending up and to the right, which schools are trending down and to the right. Yeah,
this is as wild as I have ever seen in college football. And I've been doing this gig, you guys, I think you know this, for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anything like this. All of you here today, please hit the subscribe button. If you are new to the show, please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, because we are awfully close to 20,000 subscribers. Just 300 away. So if you are not a subscriber to this channel, please consider it. Cleveland Rocks gives us $5 to say made it to Florida. If you can drive these highways, you can drive the Indy 500. Good God. Thank Buckshot for keeping me at my peak performance.
Go, baby.
The official energy provider of the Monty Show is Bucked Up. Use promo code Monty20 to get 20% off your purchase.
That's how crazy today is. Usually we do Bucked Up at 3:30 and have a Buckshot, and we don't even need that right now.
It's wild. It is absolutely wild. Make sure you get to buckedup.com. Use promo code Monty20 to get 20% off at checkout at buckedup.com. Hero75, I don't use Venmo. Please pass on to the kids. Will do. Thank you very much. McKay Boyle, Oppenheimer about to drop bombs on the Pac-12. 10.
Yeah, dude.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
It is. Listen, I understand there's a lot of people excited about this eventuality. I understand that. This is an absolute tragic beginning of the end in the Pac-12. It is, because if the biggest issue, and a lot of people say, well, hey, Monty, Big 12 survived, Pac-12 will survive. Well, who are you going to add that's a P5?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because you tried to add San Diego State, and that didn't work out so well. And my guess is, and I've been talking about this for months, The remnants of the Pac-12 and the Mountain West will merge. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I think that is because if it is in fact true that Oregon State, and Arizona, and I'm told now by multiple sources that Arizona is going to have an emergency meeting tonight that will include Bobby Robbins, who I have to believe knows about this, because and not to get crazy, but
Buddy's been knowing about this, dude.
And I don't mean to keep telling you guys about the things that we've told you, and I keep telling you. I don't mean to keep saying that. But what I'm going to tell you is Bobby Robbins being on the Pac-12 Board of Directors is a mistake. Because if he knew about Colorado leaving, which I'm getting the impression nobody knew it was this imminent.
There's that word.
Nobody knew that it was going to happen this soon.
Yeah.
But I think you ran out of time because sources in this conference have told us for months, if it's not done by summer vacation, things are going to change. Well, summer vacation went and things are changing. Mm-hmm. And we heard, hey, we're giving them until kickoff. Colorado is not willing to wait that long. Kickoff is what, August 16th?
Well, and I think it's irresponsible to wait that long. I've always had a problem with that timeline because I think it is too late. By kickoff of your last season or your potential last season in the conference, the decision should already be made.
That's right.
And decided and finalized. Your path before that for week 0 kickoff, your path should be decided. So when it's July 26th, and you have less than a month, or just actually exactly a month, like it's time to get going here. It's time to move along. And so when Lincoln Riley is at media day talking about, oh yeah, he was asked a very specific question by the USC reporter. She was from USC,
Yes.
asked Lincoln Riley something to the effect of, hey, what do you hope to accomplish in your last year or whatever? Something like that. And his answer basically was, hey, we're looking to, leave the conference on a high note. We want to get done as much as we can get done. And we're looking forward to a new, I think like brighter horizons or some analogy like that in the Big Ten. That's essentially what the guy said. So again, it just all there's a lot of this that's kind of coming full circle for me because it does kind of feel like, hey, Big 12 Media Day happens at Jerry World. We were there, talked to a lot of people. And the sentiment was, hey, this is great. I can tell you, talking directly to folks at BYU, just how excited they were to be in a new conference. We talked to the AD at UCF. We talked to Dana Holgerson. Like, you talked to Satterfield at Cincinnati. Like, these guys are all excited for the new opportunity. So when I look at Lincoln Riley, those guys, now I look at Colorado, I look at a guy like Bobby Robbins. These are all people. What do you notice? These are all people who are good at operating, who are good at understanding the economics of college football.
They're operators.
Yeah.
They're business people. And then they're like, I don't care how you slice this. This didn't have to happen.
That's true.
This didn't have to happen. And I'll go to my grave dying on this hill, apparently. The Pac-12 should have been the biggest, baddest MFer in college athletics. And they ran themselves into the ground, and nobody said 2 words about it. And this idea that SMU was going to swoop in with $70 million is ridiculous. Where are the Pac-12 mouthpieces now? Where are the Pac-12 mouthpieces now? Because, frankly, Brett McMurphy, Action Network, is reporting that it's 98% done.
Yeah.
Sources told Action Network. And we have had 2 sources texting me saying it's not 98% done, it's done. It is procedural.
Yeah.
That the Ducks it's already aligned at the university level, from the chancellor, the athletic director, all of the department heads in athletics have all signed off on it. It is simply now procedural.
Yep.
And our sources have also told us to keep a very close eye on Oregon State. We are told that Oregon State, Oregon, and Arizona have meetings scheduled now to address this. Now, again, we are waiting to see what the agenda will be at Colorado. We have not seen, they have not posted the agenda for tomorrow, although we have seen very clearly the meeting was added to their schedule. But it's going to be very interesting to see exactly where all this plays and how all this happens, because I think you are very much at a crossroads. Corey Erickson, as a Utah fan, I've been hoping Utah goes to the Big 12 since BYU was added to the conference. I hope Colorado makes the move and Utah follows.
Yeah.
I'll just reiterate what we've been told by Utah repeatedly. Hey, we had great substantive conversations with the Big 12. Spoke to the Big 12. We don't feel like we're an academic fit there. We feel like it would negatively impact our academics and our revenue through academics joining the Big 12. So at this time, hey, and I've kept in touch with my sources at Utah. They have always told us, hey, we are committed to, there are no conversations about going to the Big 12. That was good up to last Wednesday or Thursday, right before Pac-12 Football Media Day. And I think that's the case now. I don't think that Utah, and I don't know, you hear the conversations we have.
Yeah, I would agree that's the case, but I would also agree it's a mistake. I definitively am in the camp that it's a mistake to continue to be loyal to a conference that, frankly, isn't serving you well. I mean,
yeah.
I mean that's being nice about it, right? I mean, again, we're not
that's
really
being very nice about it.
We're not really in the business of constantly being ultra negative or ripping the Pac-12. But I think I'm. What position am I left in here? So I'll be nice about it and say the conference isn't serving you well. And again, I have no problem because again, nobody owns this show. We own this show, so I'll say what nobody in Salt Lake City wants to say, which is Utah has a very important decision to make. I don't want to hear about, hey, academic money and health of our university and, it's not a fit for us. But then when the conference melts down, you're one of the last to go. So,
that'd be a disaster.
Or you choose not to go. Because I agree with what you're saying. You're spot on. Our people at Utah, and we definitely have people at Utah, have said, hey, it's not a fit for us right now. So is that just the narrative? Is that just the, hey, I'm not taking questions at this time, or I'm just here so I don't get fined answer? Or is that actually the truth and the philosophy up at Utah? Because I do know this. For all the people who say we constantly hate on Utah, Taylor Randall's a damn good president.
Yes, he
and
is.
Mark Harlan, I thought, represented himself extremely well at Pac-12 Media Day to a point where people were saying Mark Harlan, Utah's athletic director, should be the commissioner of the Pac-12. And I don't disagree with that if the Pac-12 survives, obviously. So that's why I say, I just think, for Utah fan right now, yeah, you should go to the Big 12. I just think it's very cut and dry. It's very black and white. And I don't, when we talk about saving face, it's important not to be the guy in the room that said, no, that's a dumbass idea. Oh, well, now that everyone's going, let me jump on the bandwagon. It's important not to be that guy in the room. And I hope that Utah avoids being that guy.
Yep, and there is belief that Colorado will make this announcement on Friday. And if that is the case, the game has changed forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that should scare you, if you are the rest of the members of this conference, is I don't believe that Colorado will be the only one to make this announcement.
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's the case. And again, we are waiting for agendas to come out and we are waiting to see what happens. But there is no question now that Oregon State is next.
What choice do they have? I'm glad we're talking about them because
I don't think they have a choice at all.
Because we could all agree that Utah has a stronger brand than Oregon State. I don't think that's rocket science. I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah.
That said, Oregon State's done a really good job of improving and making themselves a more attractive product. So if you know that you're not a threat to win the college football playoff national championship, but you are a school that's trending up, new facilities, 10-win team caliber football team in a P5 conference, your basketball program's not too bad, right? This is a team, in my opinion, who doesn't have the luxury of being Utah, doesn't have the luxury of being Oregon.
And I'm not going to out anybody, but it's amazing to me. It is amazing to me how many Twitter tough guys are DMing me now saying, hey, what are you hearing? What are you hearing? Hey, what are you hearing? Is Utah involved in this? Please. That's what's amazing to me.
Yeah.
No, nobody's going. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving.
Oh,
they're leaving? Hey, can Utah get a piece of this? Maury Alvarez gives us $2 to say Colorado is loving on InSync right now. Bye, bye, bye. Okay. There you go. OG Gary, my guy, the Utah fan on this show. Wave 1, Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, and Oregon State. Really big rip PAC. I mean, I have to think that the Big Ten will move now.
yeah, absolutely.
I have to.
The Big 12 will go first, then the Big 10.
Tony Washlin, hope I got that right. Hi, Monty and Jake, with a huge breaking news. Can we get a new butter and toast analogy? Great coverage on this topic. Jake's favorite analogy is there's enough butter for all the toast.
Yeah, frankly, right now, the Pac-12 doesn't have enough butter for all the toast, right? And Colorado is going from generic white bread to Dave's Killer Bread 18 seed bread in the Big 12.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is.
I'm telling you, the only question here is how many schools are going. That's the only question.
How do you survive if you're the Pac-12? What does that look like? I don't see a path to survival. And I know it pisses people off when I say it, but it's always worried me that one team leaving and the conference is done. Because it's never just one team.
Not breathing room here.
It's Texas and Oklahoma. You look at the old SWAC. Look at the old Big East.
USC and UCLA, bro.
Look at USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
It's never just one team. This is going to be, outside of USC and UCLA, I think you're potentially going to lose, I think, a minimum of 2 schools. If it is in fact true that what our sources are saying, we're being told that Arizona, Oregon State all have emergency meetings coming up today, tomorrow. I'm told specifically at Arizona, there is a call that is going to happen amongst leadership to react to this. We have at length had detailed reporting on Arizona that they have the option at their leisure here, at least right now. And I think the heat's going to get turned up by Brett Yormark and his team at the Big 12.
Yeah.
But Arizona has an open invitation to join the conference. I can tell you Utah had that. I don't know if that's still the case. But there is no doubt. I think the surprise team here, and if you watch this show, it won't surprise you, but the shocker here for the country is going to be Oregon State.
Yeah.
Because I think Oregon State is a tremendous value in both basketball and football. I think Research Stadium getting the upgrade they got. I think across the board their athletics are strong. Their alumni base is strong. And I don't think anything else is more of a priority for Brett Yormark than getting the West Coast. They need the West Coast. They have, look at what the Big 12 has. They have Florida. They have Texas, the Midwest. They've got the Mountain Time Zone. What don't they have? They don't have the West Coast.
And everyone thought, Gonzaga. And I still think they will add Gonzaga.
I do.
But Brett Yormark, because we were at Big 12 Media Days, as a lot of you know, but for those of you who don't know, we were there. Brett Yormark made it very clear that they want a stronghold is a strong terminology to use there, but they want a strong footing. They want a brand in the Pacific time zone.
Yes, they do.
And I'm not saying that Oregon State is anywhere near Oregon brand power or whatever, TCU brand power, Texas brand power.
But what if you add Oregon State and Gonzaga together?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And, looking at that list of institutions that have calls, what's really interesting to me, it stands out there, is Arizona's on the call, Oregon State's on the call, right? And then you have Oregon as well. And I think what's interesting is if Arizona and ASU are aligned, ASU doesn't need to be on the call, right? ASU's told Arizona, hey, if you're going to go to the Big 12, we're on board.
You got to remember, there is the Arizona Board of Regents, which covers Arizona and Arizona State.
Yeah.
So they don't have to have separate meetings. And I just would follow this very closely because I think the next 36 hours could be wild. Yeah. It could be very wild. You guys, hit the like button, please, if you have not. If you are not a subscriber here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Let me run through some of your comments as we are neck deep in breaking news here on the Monty Show. Colorado is expected to announce a move to the Big 12 on Friday. And much to his credit, and I think sometimes he watches our show, much to his credit, who's the guy that got his balls kicked in over this story? Greg Swaim. Much to his credit. Because, and I think Greg has me blocked on Twitter. I could be wrong. But I think Greg Swaim's the one that will get most of the credit here, because Greg tweeted that Colorado was close. And I need to find his tweet on that, but I'm pretty sure that Greg Swaim is the one that had this story first. Mm-hmm. If we are being accurate and trying to be accounting to people, he had this story first. So much to his credit. But I will say that when you look at the information that is happening, it is going to. Oh wow, Oregon State. Thank you. Lopes Van Gabe. Oregon State had a special session yesterday. They had a Board of Regents session yesterday. Very interesting. Telling you guys, it's not, these things are not accidental.
No.
And I think this is a huge win for Brett Yormark, and I think it's a disaster, an absolute disaster, for the Pac-12. I just don't know how you recover from this.
Yeah. I
have no idea what you do. This hour of the show, as always, is presented by our friends at BladeHQ.com. The best knives from the best knives make. Now, hello, the best knives from the best knife makers. BladeHQ.com has over 15,000 units in stock right now on a website they built from scratch to make sure that your shopping experience is the best in the business. BladeHQ.com. If you're a collector of knives, if you're a hunter, a fisherman, if you're somebody that needs a Leatherman's tool, if you're a survivalist, if you're somebody who just goes camping and needs a lantern or a baton, all of your outdoor gear, all of your blades of every variety, BladeHQ.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Before I get your comments, let me just recap the news of the day. We have been working behind the scenes to get you the best information. There is a Board of Regents meeting scheduled for tomorrow to discuss moving to the Big 12. Colorado, as you know, is currently a member of the Pac-12. They are going to move to the Big 12. Our sources have told us that this is a formality. You'll note that we reported yesterday that the Colorado Board of Regents had an executive session, which essentially means a closed-door, non-public meeting, to execute a move like this. The Board of Regents has to meet in public, in open, in the light, as it's known. They are doing that tomorrow at Colorado. We are told by sources close to the situation that the Big 12 has given Colorado a verbal invite. Our sources also tell us that there is a special meeting of presidents in the Big 12 tonight to rubber stamp this, to get an update. I am also told that they are going to have further conversations about who else is going to join Colorado, because we have been told for weeks now that the Big 12 is not looking to double dip, as our sources use those words, to double dip in the Pac-12. They want a one-time exodus from the Pac-12 to the Big 12, and I think they'd like that to be 4 schools. Mm-hmm. I think if they had their druthers, it'd be the Arizonas, it'd be Utah, and it'd be Colorado. And I am told that Oregon State is one of those teams that is going to be talked about tonight in this meeting of the presidents. I am told that Oregon State, Oregon, and Arizona all have meetings and calls scheduled. Lopes Van Gabe, thank you so much. One of our listeners found the schedule that Oregon State has already had their special session yesterday. That we did not know about until 5 minutes ago.
I don't think anyone knew about that.
So as we've reported on this show for months, Oregon State has absolutely been in the crosshairs of the Big 12. I think the Oregon meeting is very interesting because when you look at the Ohio State Buckeye, and I know this is petty and people think we're crazy, look at the Ohio State Buckeye. On Instagram, their verified account. That is at Autzen Stadium. That is the Ducks mascot. And the cap on that post, sorry, I don't know what the heck happened there, but the caption there says, big things coming.
Yeah.
Big things are coming. That's on the Ohio State Buckeyes mascot Instagram, 30,000 verified followers.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, let's stop beating around the bush here, right? So if they have the brass or the brazen to post that, that's not a joke.
No.
And if I turn out to look like an idiot on this, I'm fine with it because I don't think we're wrong about it. I don't think we are. I don't think that verified accounts of institutions put stuff up like that in conjunction with a possible expansion candidate for no reason, right? Because it's not like it's just a picture of the Ohio State mascot. It's Ohio State, it's Oregon, at Autzen, looking at the scoreboard essentially. It's not an accident. And so for me,
yes,
again, with this conversation, for those of you just joining the show, it's a very simple proposition with Colorado essentially being rubber stamped into the Big 12. It's official tomorrow. Once that happens, what do we get out of the other targets? Because I agree, if you're the Big 12, this isn't a thing where Brett Yormark is going to allow this to just drag on and it's going to be constant speculation. Well, who's next? No, they're not going to do it that way. Notice that Brett's not that kind of guy, right? You're not that guy, pal.
A little breaking news for you on the Arizona Board of Regents. I am told that multiple members of the conference are trying to organize a call tonight to discuss this situation in the conference, and that a call does not have to be formally announced, and that is it expected on that call that they will talk about Big 12 expansion and schedule a closed-door meeting. Ooh. So,
again, for all of those folks who were like, oh, Bobby Robbins getting on the board means nothing. And,
well,
and that was just procedural. And, President Kase getting her ass off the board and going back to academia, no, that was just, was procedural. No, it was not just procedural.
No.
That timing was more than just convenient. And I think that Brett Yormark, Bobby Robbins, the folks at Oregon State, certainly the folks at Oregon, all see an opportunity. They see an opportunity to get to a better spot.
And I that's why this is so, and for those of you that don't know the Carol Folt story, that's the president at USC.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the Pac-12 Board of Directors last year when they were trying to have discussions about expansion. Carol Folt at USC said, we're not expanding, I'm not interested. And almost immediately turned around and joined the Big Ten. So Anna Marie Kase, the president at Washington, her term expires on the board of directors. They add Robert Robbins, the president of Arizona, who has been one of the most outspoken people about joining the conference. And I think you can pick any of these things, right? Like this right here, Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports, from Robert Robbins. He, citing the school's proximity to the Big 12 footprint and that league's powerhouse basketball brand as the basis for Bobby Robbins having some affinities for the conference. Dennis Dodd also from Bobby Robbins at Arizona. Quoting Robbins, I know what the Big 12's number is. I just need to hear what the Pac-12's number is. Then I can make a decision. And then if you go back to what Jed Fish said, the football coach, the head football coach at Arizona, talking about on a podcast, and I want to set this up for you because I know a lot of you haven't heard this. Jed Fish, the Arizona football coach, is on a podcast, and the host of the show says to him, hey, listen, I know you can't answer this question, but I feel like I have to ask you, hey, are you guys going to the Big 12? Are you committed to the Pac-12? Instead of saying, hey, man, I know you had to ask a question, but I really can't talk about it. Let's move on. No, listen to what Jed Fish said instead.
Arizona's going to have a place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I tell our recruits.
Be all right.
That's what I tell our donors. That's what I tell our families of current personnel.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great brand. And we have a great basketball program, we have a great softball program, a great baseball program, and I believe we have the opportunity to have an incredible football program.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Where we play our road games, we'll wait and see for our president. But we are locked in and loaded for this season, and we're going to try to just be where our feet are, which is right now in the Pac-10.
Pac.
You know.
I mean, look, you guys,
Pac-10.
That's the football coach at Arizona telling recruits we're going to be somewhere. You can't tell me he's not like, yeah, we're going to the Big 12. I mean, because think about what the biggest issue in the Pac-12 is right now. How are you going to recruit? If you're a football coach in the Pac-12 having conversations today
Pac-10
with kids who are coming for visits, and I never look at my phone during the show. I apologize. I just am getting an avalanche of text messages.
Yeah.
All of our, it's funny. We've worked, and if you're new to the show, we've worked really hard to build up a source network throughout the conference and in the TV industry. And our sources have been pretty nails on this. This Oregon State story, we have had this for months. I am told today that Oregon State now is just waiting for an offer to come in from the Big 12 to get that, hey, yeah, why don't you join the Big 12?
Yeah, dude.
That's a big deal.
If that's the truth, and I have no reason to believe it's not the truth, and Utah is not part of the first wave of Big 12 expansion, and let's surmise that there isn't going to be a second wave, because obviously with what you just said about Yormark's point of view on that, they don't want to double dip, they don't want to have multiple waves, they want one clean cut addition to the conference. I don't like the outlook for Utah. Now, could they work in the Big 10? Certainly, but they're a Big 12 school, dude. That Utah is a great fit in the Big 12. BYU, aside.
I agree. I totally agree. It's just you're looking at it and still no agenda posted. But this is a big deal. This is it. This is absolutely a big deal, and I think, Glenn, San Diego State Aztec gives us $5 to say, Monty, the buck duck pick is just feather calls. You can't call it a booty call. Very close to the same thing. Hero 75, Glenn, you're a gem, dude. Gives us $5. Does Arizona, Stanford, Cal, and Oregon and Washington require public meetings to move like Colorado, or can they move on their own? Any public institution has to have a Board of Regents meeting, Board of whatever you call it, but most of them are Board of Regents, like Arizona and Arizona State, for those of you who don't know, have the same Board of Regents that governs both schools.
Yeah.
In Oregon, I believe it's different. I think there's a Board of Regents for Oregon and Oregon State. Washington certainly has one. Like you pretty much have to do it if you're a public institution. Kaufman gives us $2. The PAC is toast with no butter, and it's burned toast. Kelsey Hamer, hey Kelsey, how are you? $2 to say, what's Utah's goal here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And unfortunately, I want the best for Utah. And the best for Utah, in my opinion, is the Big 12 for a variety of different reasons. Yeah. I don't think the Big 10 is the best they can do.
This is as fearful for Utah as I've ever been. Because if you don't go to the Big 12 now, you're going to end up in the Mountain West.
It's a problem.
Because the Pac-12 is I can't believe that if Colorado, and I keep saying if, it's done. Like multiple sources have said, it's done. It's a formality, Monty. It's done. If Colorado goes, Arizona's going with them. And if Brett Yormark wants Oregon State, our sources have told us it's over.
And
Oregon
I think it's
State
a perfect fit based on what he said.
If you're Utah, I don't know how you don't go. And again, our sources at Utah are about as high up as you can get. And we have been told repeatedly, we are loyal to this conference. I have told you that Taylor Randall, the president at Utah, has been an absolute stud of a diplomat behind the scenes. Taylor Randall, the president at Utah, we have heard repeatedly, has been a peacemaker, a conduit. He's been a guy that has open conversations, open communication lines between, frustrated presidents, frustrated athletic directors. Mark Harlan, the athletic director, who I think is the conference athletic director of the year, has been a guy that has been trying to get the athletic directors all on the same page. I am told he has not been able to do that routinely, but Utah wants peace and they want consistency in the Pac-12. That's all out the window now. So are you changing the way that you're doing business now because of this Colorado move? I don't see how you don't. Taylor Randall and Mark Harlan are two really bright guys. Taylor Randall is as sharp as they come, and I have so much respect for Mark Harlan, the athletic director at Utah. I think he does a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Yeah.
The polar opposite of J.D. Wicker at San Diego State and Adela De La Torre, the president at San Diego State, who completely botched their situation with the Mountain West and the Pac-12. You'll never see that at Utah. If they make a decision to stick and stay, they're going to have a really solid base for that reasoning. And I hope they go to the Big 12 because I know if they want to go to the Big 12, they can go, but I think they got to do it now. I think they have to do it now because I think that window is going to close.
Yep.
And it is terrifying to me to think about a University of Utah in the Mountain West Conference, in the new Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, dude. It's a bad look.
But it's not even that it's embarrassing, and I think it is. What bothers me so much is it takes the spotlight off of a really quality athletic program. The athletics at Utah deserve better than this shit. They do. You have a football coach in Kyle Whittingham in Salt Lake City who's just an absolute rock star of a football coach.
Yeah, I don't think the Mountain West is an option for you, man. I think you're too far past it.
I don't think you're going to have a choice.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to have a choice. Nate Simons, how are you? Is Oregon going? Ohio State mascot Instagram posted a pic of Ohio and Oregon. Yeah, well, I don't think Oregon's going to the Big 12. We have extensively reported on that. Delaric, so it sounds like Brett said we will be taking more teams, but only do it once. If you're not on this first move, you're out in the cold.
Correct.
No, I think that's what our sources are telling us.
Yeah.
I think Brett Yormark does not want to double dip is the phraseology that our sources used. And I got to tell you, I can't blame the guy.
Well, and I think, again, look at what he's done and look at how he's done it. Nothing has been messy. Nothing has been unorganized. The guy is a true master of his craft, getting business deals done and announcing them in a way that seems, cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough, right? That's what this is.
A very well-placed source tells me that Colorado is getting a full share.
Yeah.
A full share from the Big 12, $31.7 million on day one. They will get a full share. That move will be effective 1 year. A year from now, Colorado will get a full share when they move to the Big 12.
As they should.
Colorado will not have to wait or earn their way to a full share. And the presidents are allegedly in lockstep on that.
Yeah,
is what our sources are telling us. Shooter Texas, BYE Phil's first tag from ESPN hunting license. Well, and Shooter, we joke about that, but I think that's a really interesting way to put that. And if you don't know the situation we're talking about, the Big 12 TV deal is structured very specifically that ESPN gets the bulk. I believe it's 72% of the football content. They get a small piece of basketball. Fox gets a large piece of Big 12 basketball. The hunting license reference relates to the vaunted pro rata agreement, the pro rata clause, which is quite literally translates to equal share.
Yeah.
ESPN has written into its deal with the Big 12 that if you get a P5 level university, Oregon State, Colorado, Arizona State, anybody in a P5 conference, to join your conference, we will give you a full share of football money for that P5. Now, we have also had extensive reporting on this as well. Fox, ESPN, and the Big 12 have a very solid relationship. We reported many months ago, back in October, ESPN has made some very clear lines in the sand with the Big 12. For example, ESPN made it very clear from the beginning they were not going to bid against Amazon Prime Sports for Pac-12 content. They were not going to do that. ESPN made it very clear. Our sources in television networking tell us in the television industry, tell us that ESPN said to the Pac-12, we'll give you $90 million a year. That's it. Not a penny more. And if you give us one game on TV and one game on stream, we'll give you $90 million. And that was it. We also told you last August, I believe we first reported that Fox and ESPN told the Big 12 and the Pac-12, hey, let's have conversations about combining your two leagues, merging the two. The Big 12 was open to it. The Pac-12 was not. We have reported since, I think, October or November that ESPN had very much cooled and was no longer bidding for Tier 1 rights. We told you last August that Fox had pulled out altogether and has not re-entered the conversation for Tier 1 rights in the Pac-12. All of that has come to fruition. This hunting license comes from the conversation of ESPN is not openly working to destroy the Pac-12. It's not openly working to damage the Pac-12, but it certainly is not working to enrich, to help, to support, or to be a foundational partner with the Pac-12. And it goes back, according to our sources, to Larry Scott's inability or really decision that Larry Scott made not to do that deal 2 years ago now or something with DirecTV and Google. And there's a lot of people who feel like that's where the bridge was broken with ESPN, and it's why ESPN has taken such a hard line on the Pac-12, and frankly, who can blame them? Because I have also reported on this show repeatedly, CW is a very interesting, Nexstar Media is a very interesting one, because we told you that Nexstar Media wanted to talk to the Pac-12 about a deal that would have Pac-12 sports on CW affiliates west of the Rockies. The Pac-12 said, we're not interested in that. We want national coverage, and we would only ask you for $400 million to do that. To which the CW said, thanks, no thanks. And a source of mine has been telling me for months and months and months and months and months, the single biggest issue with the Pac-12 is they don't understand who they are and where they are, and that they don't understand their value to the market. And we've talked about this on the show repeatedly.
Yeah.
What is the Pac-12's value position? What is their value statement? They have one, Pac-12 After Dark. And guess what? Carol Fulton, USC, cut them off at the balls on that.
Yep.
Because what have we been hearing about from NBC? Big Ten Saturday night. That song is stuck in my head.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
And a year from now, that's going to be USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real possibility it'll be Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal.
That's what I say. You're just getting out business acumen at this point.
You're getting outmaneuvered repeatedly.
Yeah, over and over again.
Just over and over and over again.
Yep.
Repeatedly, they're getting outmaneuvered. It's remarkable. Kenneth Kenneth, gives us $5 to say this move by Colorado and a mass exodus from the PAC is potential great news for the AAC. More likely, SMU and schools like Memphis and USF stay put. Great point.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. This has implications for the entire country.
If this has implications across college athletics.
Yes.
It absolutely does. USF should be in a Power 5 conference. There's no question about that. USF should have the ability to compete because they have the facilities. They're no different than Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
USF, and this is the UConn conversation, if we're valuing properties, I would, and I'm Brett Yormark, I would take USF before I would take UConn because I am not subsidizing UConn football. I am not paying for UConn football.
Well, and I think the other side of that, just from a conversation standpoint, is you already have Florida. If you're the Big 12, right? You've got UCF. Like
yes,
you have representation in Florida. Obviously, they don't have Florida. Which I don't think really changes anything with UConn's situation. UConn's situation is their situation because they've done nothing about building a football stadium on campus because they're a basketball school. So to me, I just think it's not rocket science to be like, okay, yeah, I agree. USF is a valuable brand, right? They'd be a good addition to most P5s. Probably not a fit in the SEC because the SEC is too good. But I think the Big 12, certainly the Big 10, could up the bottom of your conference. And I just think that ultimately, if you're Brett Yormark again, this is the only place where you can't misstep.
Yes.
Right? You can't, if you can get this right, and everyone, I see all the people on Twitter who are like, no way Brett can pull this off. This is some coup. I don't think it's some coup. I don't think it's some surprise. I think people greatly underestimate the idea that institutions want to be in conferences that do business better. And it just makes perfect sense. So when I have ESPN on the tube in front of us, and now it's on ESPN that Colorado's going to the Big 12,
there it is.
Like, we're rolling now. This is no secret anymore. It's out. So the only question, again, as I've said 4 times now, is just how many schools are leaving. Because Dennis Dodd on Twitter right now is saying that Colorado, for now, is the only school leaving.
Well, most people don't have their ducks in a row. I have to, the question that has to be asked and answered, how long has the Pac-12 Board of Directors known this was coming?
Mm-hmm.
Did they find out today? Did they find out today? Because if that's the case, that'd be shocking that not once with USC and UCLA, but now twice with Colorado. And how have we known before they knew? That'd be shocking. That would be shocking. But again, who is the least liked president in this conference? Kirk Schultz at Washington State is not a well-liked dude. And who is the chairman of the Pac-12 Board of Directors? Kurt Schultz, Washington State. And I think we've heard that there's been consternation, that there has been a lack of communication over that situation.
Yeah.
So this would be I'm telling you guys, and I don't mean to keep saying it over and over again here on the Monty Show, but this is a tragedy. This didn't have to happen. This simply did not have to happen. It's ridiculous to me that all of this is just mismanagement.
Yep.
It is absolutely mismanagement. And it's a shocking outcome for a conference in the Pac-12 that frankly had every reason to succeed.
Yes.
Every reason to succeed. This hour of the show presented by our good friends at TryDayTrading.com. You guys, if you didn't make $1,000 today at work, my goodness, why have you not been to TryDayTrading.com? Get their 30-day trial membership for a $10 charitable donation. What if I said you could own your own business? What if I said you could find out how much money you should be making? Because if you're not making $200,000 to $300,000 at your gig and you hate your job and you're pissed you got to go back to the office, TryDayTrading.com/Monty. It is for decades now been a conduit to prosperity for so many across North America. Hook it up, TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. So Dennis Dodd is in fact tweeting, and this is an interesting question that I also think you have to have. I think you also have to have. What is the upshot here?
Of what?
If Colorado goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry to be thinking off the top of my head, which we don't do much on this show. If Colorado goes Friday, which is what our sources are telling us is the likely outcome, how long until we get somebody else? Because I can't believe that A, what are you going to do with 9 teams? And how are you going to salvage a TV deal if you're the Pac-12?
Yeah, I mean, I think this... if you're the conference right now, you're in full stop the bleeding mode, right? I mean, that's ultimately what you're trying to do. And I think if you're the Big 12 and really if you're the member institutions of the Pac-12, you're just on the phone having conversations. You got to communicate. Correct. And you got to understand. Okay, well, again, if Colorado goes, which we've been told it's a done deal, they're going. I think the question is who's going with them, because I don't think that, again, and this goes back to Brett Yormark. I don't think that Brett Yormark does things, just willy-nilly or by the seat of his pants.
Not at all.
This guy is a savage. I mean, you need to understand that. Brett Yormark does business at a really high level and understands how to get things done. So when that's the case with somebody, it's never just one. It's never just surface level. There's always more. There's always structure. There's always process. There's always a plan. So for me, I would not be surprised if Friday we got announcements from other schools. I just wouldn't be that surprised because, again, you can't tell me that other schools are not working behind the scenes.
And what you're looking at there on the screen is the agenda for the meeting tomorrow, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Action item, athletic operations, which is the exact same title and the exact same action item that was on the agenda today for the closed-door executive session meeting at Colorado. This is the Colorado Board of Regents meeting tomorrow, 3 p.m. Subject, action item, athletic operations. Type and action. They're going to take a vote. They're going to do it in public. And then my guess is you're going to get an announcement on Friday that will say our intent is to join the Big 12. They will then formally, I would guess, and this is just based on my experience, they will announce their intent to the Pac-12. They will then, concurrently at the same time, begin the membership process of joining the Big 12. And then an official announcement will be made.
Yeah.
But they will announce on Friday their intention to join the Big 12.
Yep.
And it's going to be very interesting to see how all this shakes out. This is a historic moment in time.
Yes.
I hope people are understanding the historic nature of this move. Because when you listen to all the mouthpieces, whether it's the great radio wizard in the Northwest or Wilner or all these guys who have said nobody's leaving, nobody's talking to the Big 12. You knew that was a bunch of bullshit from the jump. You knew that. What do you say now that you know Colorado's going? Oregon State had a special Board of Regents meeting yesterday. Oregon's got one on the books, and our sources in Arizona are telling us that Arizona has or is currently in the middle of a phone call with the leadership of their institutions. This is something that over the next week to 10 days, I think that's when you're going to find out who's really loyal.
Yeah.
You're going to find out, and it's the old Dark Knight line. Let's find out how loyal a hungry dog really is.
And they are hungry.
And these guys are hungry, and I think I just don't know how you keep them together.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way to keep them together. Justin Games gives us $2 to say, been a follower forever. First time I catch you all live. Well, I appreciate you, Justin.
Dude.
Thank you. He gave us $4 total. Corey Erickson, agree with Jake about academics. What would negatively impact Utah academics the most is the Pac-12 imploding and being left out of a P5. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So at this point, if
Yes.
you're going to sit here and tell me that your main priority is the academic standard that you set, I love that that's your standard, but now the conversation shifted. And so now you don't have much of a choice because I know the Pac-12 TV deal was going to be garbage either way, right? It was not going to be good. But that versus Mountain West revenue of $4 million a year, dude, that's not even a conversation.
No.
And so to me, I have no problem saying if Utah winds up in the Mountain West, someone's getting fired. It just can't happen. It's unacceptable.
Yep, I agree. Michael Williams gives us $5. Thank you. Daniel Finch, you've mentioned the Pac-12 deal was around $19.5 million. What happens to that number if Colorado leaves? Ultimately, I think it's less, but because you're losing a significant market. You're losing the Denver, Colorado Springs market. You're losing the state of Colorado market.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that hurts so much is if you look at where the alumni base is. They're Denver, they're San Francisco, they're Los Angeles, they're West Coast. So you're losing the ability to garner attention from a significant group of people. So I think that number has to go down. The bigger question is, does San Diego State replace Colorado? Because if you're San Diego State, you're in no man's land here. I mean, you pissed off your constituents in the Mountain West, something fierce. You made them look stupid.
Yeah.
And I think you got in bed with a dog that had significant amount of fleas. And now you're silent? Now you have nothing? There's no way to defend yourself? Did you see the crowd for Wrexham at Snapdragon Stadium last night? Those people aren't turning out for San Diego State football. And if I'm San Diego State, that's a shot over the bow of public sentiment and the fact that I truly believe San Diego State did real damage to their integrity and to their brand.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know. I really don't know how you fix that, Daniel. And I think the answer is I think that number goes down.
Yep.
And I think you're going to have a tough time getting a deal now.
Yep.
Why would Apple? Why would ESPN?
That's what I'm saying. Again, when we talk about, hey, there's not going to be two waves here. You're not going to get multiple waves of Big 12 expansion from the Pac-12. Now, you may get other additions out east or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Pac-12. Whether we're talking about it from the TV deal angle, whether we're talking about it from the San Diego State angle, there's no beating around this bush, bro.
No, there's not.
I am here to do it. All you people who said Utah's never leaving, Colorado's never leaving, dude, all the talking heads in Salt Lake City that call us the YouTube hacks who were like, oh, they're getting $50 million a year. You guys all look like idiots today because this conference is run poorly and these member institutions have one opportunity and only one opportunity
That's right.
to get to the Big 12, and they will not hesitate, in my opinion.
Breaking news this afternoon, Colorado is close to leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12. Colorado Board of Regents has scheduled a public meeting for tomorrow to discuss moving to the Big 12. Here is the agenda item from that meeting. 3 o'clock Mountain Time, athletic operations. And note the type of meeting that this is. It is an actionable meeting.
Pack this thing up. We're out of here.
Which is, and if you don't know the public process, you have to have a public meeting where people can ask questions and a vote in public is taken. That's what happens tomorrow. So logical sequence, the meeting happens, they vote to authorize Colorado. Colorado already has, as our sources have told us today, all of their athletic department heads from their different sports are in line with Rick George, the athletic director, with Phil DiStefano, the chancellor, who have all signed off on this. Colorado, then, from our sources telling us, Friday, Colorado will announce its intention to join the Big 12 and thereby its intention to leave the Pac-12. And then they will formally begin the process of Big 12 membership. And it will be quick. And I believe that you are going to begin seeing, as we have heard over the last hour and 45 minutes now, that the Big 12 has already given Colorado a verbal offer.
Mm-hmm.
We heard earlier that Oregon State, and Arizona were having special meetings. We found out through some digging of our listeners, Lopes Van Gabe, that Oregon State had their special meeting yesterday. Oregon is having their special meeting. Our sources in Arizona on the ground there are telling us that Arizona is having a call, or had a call this afternoon behind the scenes. Hey, what's going on? Arizona obviously has been one of those teams that has been rumored to be very interested in joining the Big 12. And now we sit here and wait to see what the upshot of these conversations are. And I think it's going to be very, very quick, because our sources have told us that Brett Yormark does not want to, quote, double dip in the Pac-12. He wants to have one group that joins the conference, and that's it.
Facts.
And if you're in that group, you're good to go. And I think our sources have consistently told us he'd like to have 4 Pac-12 teams come to the Big 12. And I think he'd like to add Gonzaga basketball. And we were told months and months ago that Brett Yormark has given Gonzaga that same verbal invitation that he has issued to Colorado. And Gonzaga has not acted on it. Today, Colorado has acted on it.
And by the way, being unbalanced is not an issue because Gonzaga doesn't play football.
Correct. J-Rod says, Big 12, damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, for them, it does. Lokeman gives us $5. Brett said 12 to 14 teams in the Big 12 is his goal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you...
He's also said it's not about a number.
Yeah,
it's about fit.
It's about fit.
Yeah.
And geographic fit. Lots of, I think, yeah, I don't know that there's a number. I truly don't. Country Roads 5150 gives us $10. UConn can stay on, or Utah, can stay on the Titanic. Oregon State, Arizona State, and Colorado. Gonzaga and UConn basketball only. The only problem with that, UConn has said they will not join on a basketball only.
Yeah. And I don't blame Big 12 is going to add them basketball only.
And I don't blame them for that. Boss Frog, quote unquote, it's not a concern.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you all remember that, right? Everyone at Pac-12 Media Day, and I believe that's a George Klyavkov quote.
It is.
It's not a concern as far as Colorado leaving. Okay.
Yeah, it is. This is amazing because I look at this statement right here from George Klyavkov, and how stupid does this sound now?
We constantly update our board. I think they're enthusiastic like I am about the media deal. But I will tell you what we've seen is that the longer we wait for the media deal, the better our options get. And I think our board realizes that. And there's an underlying shift in the media market that's happening, and we're long-term taking advantage of that. But short-term, it may have provided some hiccups.
Man, he looks foolish now. And boy, this on expansion?
Regarding potential expansion, while we have already done the due diligence on expansion candidates many months ago and significantly narrowed our focus to a handful of schools, our sequence remains unchanged. First, we will conclude our media rights deals. Then our schools will sign our grant of rights, which has already been negotiated. And only then will we decide on potential expansion.
Ooh. And again, you listen to George Klyavkov talk, and you listen to Brett Yormark talk, and the night and day difference is remarkable.
The media market today isn't what it was when we did our deal in the fall. And I am just so thrilled that we got our deal done early, because I'm not sure if I didn't do that deal then, that deal exists today. You know, there's an opportunity cost to chasing a deal. You know, if I was if I had been in the market all year chasing a deal, all the things that we talked about earlier and I addressed yesterday wouldn't have happened, because I would have had a singular focus on one thing. The fact that we were able to get that thing done early and in 90 days gave us the latitude and the ability to chase all the other things we're doing now. So we really leveraged that moment to the extent that we could, and it's built incredible momentum for us.
I mean, the guy is just a star.
Yeah.
He is absolutely a star, and I think it is remarkable. It is remarkable that Brett Yormark has led the Big 12. I mean, they have been running for a year, sprinting for a year with Mexico and Rucker Park and AT&T Stadium and, NFL Pro Day and, just adding a commercial division, solidifying its relationships in Kansas City and Dallas, and just doing all this stuff in Mexico. And you just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And you start to understand that survival now is in real question for the Pac-12 because of all of this stuff. And then you listen to the difference between George Klyavkov and Brett Yormark. And what confidence do you have in George Klyavkov to save this conference?
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
Man, that is absolutely the issue. There is no doubt about that. Kyle A., OSU had a board meeting yesterday as well. They did, correct. Jim Bagley gives us $10 to say damn good coverage from the start of this. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Jim.
Brass Balls, how are you? If Colorado, Arizona State, Gonzaga, and Oregon State go to the Big 12, or Oregon and Washington, Cal and Stanford go to the Big 10, what happens to Utah if the PAC dissolves? I think if the PAC dissolves, the remaining schools go to the Mountain West. And for Washington State and Utah, I think that's a remarkable defeat. It's a remarkable defeat. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Unacceptable for Utah. Washington State, okay, fine, cool. That's fine. They run their athletics like garbage because Kirk is just awful at what he does.
I would agree.
So that's fine. I don't really even care about that. But Utah. Nationally, Utah is way underrated and nobody gives them enough credit. Locally, everybody knows what it is at Utah. And I believe that it's just it can't happen that Utah gets to the Mountain West. That just is unacceptable. So I don't know. I don't know if Yormark makes an exception. I don't know if the Big Ten comes calling or
I don't know
what happens. I don't know.
MJ Bissett just mean to play them back to back. Facts are facts. I mean, you cannot compare. You can only contrast Brett Yormark and George Kliavkoff.
Do you think that the presidents in the Pac-12 aren't doing that?
Oh, my God. They have to be. Tony Altimore on self-deletion watch. Anthony gives us $2 to say, look, you guys, there's a lot of people who make their living on the Pac-12. And when you have guys that do that, what other choice do they have but to hope and root that the Pac-12 loses nobody?
Yeah.
You know, OG Gary gives us $2 to say, do we rename the PAC to Ocean Gate Conference? It's imploding too soon. Wow. The sub-implosion gets a reference by OG Gary.
Damn.
Who also gives us $5 to say, my sources tell me there's also an exodus of envelopes from GK's office. Selfishly, I want the Big Ten Utes, but I'm excited for the Big 12 as well. I hope it happens.
Yeah.
I hope it happens because it is terrifying. It really is terrifying. Kyle Lindbergh, to the point you both have made, this is setting up for a Mountain West fold in the Pac-12 scraps. Well,
yeah.
To fold in you have to fold.
That's what I'm saying. We have these two groups that make too much sense not to move to the Big 10 and the Big 12, right? Like group of 4 schools, right? You've got those 4 schools to go into the Big 12, another 4 schools going to the Big 10. I firmly believe in this because it just makes sense. It's too logical. It's too straightforward. It makes too much sense business-wise. Like, why would you not?
I agree. Why would you not? Shooter, Texas. $5 to say Big 12 sources. Phase 1 is CU in Arizona. Use Oregon State and Arizona State rumors to pressure Oregon and Washington. ASU and U of U are backups. No need for even numbers. Could be 3-6. I think the problem is Arizona State and Utah are 2 of the most valuable brands in this conference.
Yeah, you would want to add them.
I mean, Utah, just from a football perspective and a women's sports perspective alone, and trust me, having talked to Brett Yormark at Media Day, he cares about women's sports.
Facts.
Deeply cares about women's sports. He's committed to it. Tom Dean, 1563 watching, 365 likes. Hit the like button. Yeah, you guys, we're trying to get to 20,000 subs on this show. If you could hit the like button, that'd be great. We're at 19,733 subscribers. So if you're one of the 1,600 here and you're not a subscriber, please consider giving us a subscribe. We'd love to have you on board the Monty Show, which, by the way, where did it go? We had a new member.
There it is.
There it is right there. Scott Price.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Scott Price, one of our newest members. Thank you. Appreciate you joining the show. Nate B gives us $5 to say, I owe the Monty Show an apology. All my hopes of PAC surviving have been gored. I am crossing my fingers for Ducks to the big. Sorry, guys. Well, and we appreciate
that, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
I think there's no doubt Oregon ends up in the Big Ten.
I can't tell you how much saving face is happening in on Twitter and in the Pac-12, and I really do appreciate comments like that. They're like, hey, you guys have been on point with this, because I feel like we've been on point with this, and I do feel like we admit when we're wrong on things. and I think that, like you said, people make a living off the Pac-12 and its success. And so when the conference fails, where else are you going to go? Are you all of a sudden going to go from being a Portland resident that's a Pac-12 expert to now being a Portland resident that's somehow an expert on what happens in Stillwater? Come on, dude.
Not to tell you I told you so.
Right.
But look what Brett McMurphy just tweeted. Colorado is leaving the Pac-12 to return to the Big 12 in 2024, sources told the Action Network. Colorado will receive full Big 12 shares from ESPN and Fox Media deal. Buffs left because the Big 12 stability and the Pac-12's uncertainty, sources said the announcement Thursday. So we told you.
Yeah.
Colorado's getting a full share from the Big 12.
Yep.
So we ain't got no sources. We're just the hacks on YouTube.
Yeah.
We just the hacks on YouTube, man. We don't know nothing. William Laura gives us $3. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Mick Muffin gives us $5 to say wow, wow, wow. Yeah. Mick Muffin gives us $5 more to say Oregon. I think Big Ten.
Yeah.
I
Perfect
think
fit.
Oregon to the Big Ten. J-Rod, damn it feels good to be a gangster for $10. Kyle Lindbergh. Let's see. I think I read that one already. My bad. Jim Tudor gives us $5. Say, as a Cincinnati fan excited about these new venues. You should be.
You should be.
You should be. Jason W. gives us $2. Pac-Tanic hit the inevitable iceberg.
I'm sorry.
sinking.
Okay, hold on. I thought I just got a Pac-Tanic rolled out into the comments section.
I believe you did. Curtis gives us $5. Sounds like Washington to the Big 12 is likely to happen. I think Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and Cal end up in the Big 10.
Yeah.
Makes
so much sense.
I would be really surprised if Oregon wound up in the Big 12. They just feel like because what do you do with UCLA and USC if you're the Big 10?
Yeah, you need travel partners out west, no doubt.
Right? Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, you have to. You have to. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah.
You have to do it. Jason W. Pac-Tanic finally hit the inevitable iceberg. He gives us $2 more. Stevie gives us $5. Does BYU already being in the big negatively impact a potential Utah invite? Not at all.
Nope.
Utah is a national football power.
Yeah, and we had sourcing for you that several months ago now that said that Tom Holmoe was trying to build a bridge between Yormark and Taylor Randall.
He was indeed. Let's see. Kyle gives us $5. When the Pac-12 is rated, are there Mountain West teams that jump to the PAC for the exit fee? Not sure if it works that way. I don't think that's the case. I think when you look at, is the Mountain West going to be rated? Or are they going to raid the Pac-12? Well, there's no exit fee. I mean, the Pac-12's out of grant of rights. And we've always told you from the beginning, regardless of what, Mr. Wizard behind the curtain in Washington tells you, or Oregon, wherever the hell he is, that SMU is going to pay a $70 million entry fee. How dumb does that look now?
Be better.
How dumb does that look now? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Tom Dean says, all hacks, no sources.
Yep.
Exactly right.
First team all hack.
Jacob, what happens to Boise State? I think Boise State. I think you stay in the Mountain West. I just think you have a really good commissioner, and your profile is only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And I think you are going to see consolidation is going to happen. Are we going to end up at 2 conferences in a year? We're not. I don't think. I think there's a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of ground to cover before that happens.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Daniel Mountcastle gives us $10. Thank you. OG Gary gives us $5 to say Harlan doesn't sign an extension to go to the Mountain West. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
We are Big 12 bound. No way we are that dumb. My cousin's student at the U told me the word on campus is the Big 12. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope so. Dude, I really would love to see Utah in the Big 12. Honestly, I would. I do think that they'd be right at the top of the conference year 1.
Yep, I agree. Dale Donuts. Boise State needs to learn to love its conference. They do. They do. Sometimes you're better off being that way. Scott Price, Utah national brand, LOL. I didn't say a national brand, but Utah is without question a national football power.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about
College
that.
football playoff threat every year.
Every single year.
Yep.
They've back-to-back Pac-12 championships, back-to-back Rose Bowl appearances.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you can't do it better than Kyle Whittingham's done it at Utah.
Yeah.
Do you know how difficult that is to do what they've done? I think it's incredibly difficult. Jeremy Callahan, exit fee, more like exit free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is the other side of this conversation. You're in a position where you can get out.
So why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? The official pizza of the Monty Show is Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you use the promo code Monty25 when you order those calzones.
At Papa Murphy's, we do more than just pizza. We do calzones.
Papa Murphy's does calzones?
Oh, I think you mean I do the calzones.
And how do you do it, Dad?
How do I do it? How do I do it?
Well, we do it with fresh ingredients and hand-shredded cheese tucked in a scratch-made dough.
That's how, honey.
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza.
You don't forget the calzones.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Hour number 3 of the Monty Show, presented by Bucked Up Energy. I'm doing it.
Dude, let's do it.
I'm doing it. Let's go.
Can we all have a buckshot from Bucked Up? Here's to Colorado to the Big 12. How about that?
Cheers to Colorado. Buckshot, you guys, 200 milligrams of caffeine, and it gives you a mental lift. I use it to play golf. I use it to do this show. I use it when I'm working out. If you're sitting at your desk at 2 o'clock and you're like, damn, that Chipotle's setting in hard, bro, pop a buckshot. It gives you that mental energy. It gives you that lift. It's long-lasting, clean energy to power you to your best performance through your day. In the description below, get 6 free samples of buckshot from Bucked Up Energy, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. If you're just tuning in,
Yes, you missed a lot today.
You did. And a huge crack of lightning goes by the studio window. That's right. Too much gravy for my biscuits.
Yeah.
The PAC is very bucked up. A huge story that we have been reporting on for almost a year now. Sources tell us that Colorado is close to leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12. Now, if you look at the title of the show, that title was written at 11 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
Is the Pac-12 close to a mass exodus? And the answer is yes, they are. Because our sources have told us that Colorado is, in fact, leaving. We were told that it is no longer close, that it's a done deal. In fact, Colorado has a Board of Regents meeting tomorrow that is classified as a special meeting where the Board of Regents will take action on athletic operations, which is the exact same title of their executive session or closed door in private meeting that they had today. By rule, the Board of Regents has to vote in public in quote unquote the light so that people can see who voted and that they in fact did vote. But we are told it is a formality and it is done. Sources close to the situation tell this show that Colorado is in lockstep. Their entire athletic department, all of their department heads, all of their sports, their athletic director, Rick George, and their chancellor, Phil DiStefano, are all on board going to the Big 12, and that this Board of Regents meeting tomorrow is a formality. We are told that they will vote tomorrow. We are told that they will announce that their intention is to leave the Pac-12 and join the Big 12. We are also told that the Big 12 has already, in fact, issued Colorado a verbal invitation to join the conference. Our sources close to the conference have also told us that Brett Yormark is not interested in, multiple shots of expansion. That Brett Yormark does not want to double dip from the Pac-12. He wants one group leaving the Pac-12, joining the Big 12. That could be as many as 4 schools. Our belief is that Arizona and Colorado are the first 2, and then things get murky. Because let's not forget the setup in Arizona, where they have a single Board of Regents that governs both Arizona and Arizona State. And there is a belief that the Board of Regents by far has a preference that Arizona and Arizona State act together because they're a much stronger unit when they move in lockstep. But it is very clear from history, and if history tells us anything about Arizona State, they want to stay in the Pac-12. They supported Larry Scott. Michael Crow, the president in Arizona State, has been one of the longest, loudest supporters of the former commissioner, Larry Scott, and has advocated for George Kliavkoff to be able to finish his work and do his job. We'll see what happens with Arizona State. We'll see who else winds up in the conference. But our sources have told us repeatedly for months, and today, when this news broke, multiple sources texted us and told us, watch Oregon State, who had a special Board of Regents meeting yesterday. Is that coincidental? Could be. But we have told you for months that Oregon State is of interest to Brett Yormark in the Big 12, to keep your eye on them. The real question here is how many teams are going? Because if it is just Colorado and only Colorado winds up in the Big 12, that is likely not a death blow to the Pac-12, but it is awfully difficult to see just Colorado leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12. That'd be difficult to see, especially knowing that you got it exclusively. And here on the Monty Show first, Colorado is getting a full share. Other members of the national media, including Dennis Dodd at CBS, Brett McMurphy at the Action Network, have now reported that same thing, that Colorado is getting a full share of $31.7 million. It's hard to believe that if Arizona, Utah, Oregon State, Arizona State wanted to join the Big 12, that they would too also somehow not get $31.7 million. I could see that with Oregon State, Jake, but I have to believe if Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State said, yeah, we want in, I have to believe the Big 12 gives them that full share.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if you're Oregon State, you're cool with a half share. I don't think you're cool with a quarter share, but certainly a half share would be, in my opinion, would be fine. But I don't know. Remains to be seen. Maybe $20 million is their number. Who the hell knows? But I do think that Oregon State doesn't have enough sway to pull a full share. But the other schools do. And again, I'm just going to keep saying it. You have an opportunity to get out of a bad situation here, basically for no price, for free. You can leave the Pac-12 for free. You can go to the Big 12 with a better commissioner, better leadership, better opportunity, a better basketball conference, just better overall, in my opinion. And you can be on your way. So what will they do? Will their pride and their affinity for academics and their relationships stand in the way? Or will they choose to take those same relationships, take that same academia, and bring it to a better conference, a more well-run conference? Will you see the light, or will you try to tell a story that, you value the Pac-12 and all of its idiotic decision-making? That's the question. Yeah. Legitimately, that's the question.
Yeah, and I think this is a very dark day for the Pac-12 because I am in the group that believes this is just an eventuality now. And when I look at what we have, I mean, all of the rhetoric of I'm not worried, from George Kliavkoff, I'm not worried about any team leaving. No team is leaving the Pac-12. All the rhetoric from the John Canzanos of the world who just slurp at the knob of the Pac-12 and report that, hey, SMU is going to pay a $70 million entry fee and that no school is leaving. And how foolish do you look now? And do you backslide that? I don't know. You look at all of the Big 12 ANON BS, all of the truck stop conference BS. This is a difficult day for the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest issue is, and the hardest reality to face is, you did this to yourself. You 100% mismanaged your conference, from Larry Scott to an awful hire in George Kliavkoff, who should have been fired the moment he walked off that stage last Friday. This has been one mistake after another, and it simply didn't have to happen. You had 12 elite academic institutions and sports institutions that were ready to compete and grow a national powerhouse. and you simply stood in your own way repeatedly.
Yeah.
I will just say again, it never had to happen.
Facts.
Yet here we are. And I don't know how you survive this, because I do not believe that it's just one team.
Yeah.
Or one school, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I don't. And I think when you look at what's going to happen at Colorado tomorrow, our sources are telling us that Oregon State, and Arizona have meetings today. Oregon State had their meeting yesterday. Is that a coincidence? Oregon has a meeting scheduled. Arizona is currently or just wrapped up a call amongst its leadership about this very situation. It's simply a matter of time. And will you get 4 total teams? I don't know. My guess is the most likely outcome is Arizona and Colorado. And we'll see who else ends up, but it makes no sense to just add 2 teams. And if you just add 2 teams, it makes no sense that the other 8 wouldn't want to join you as well. Or at least part of those other 8. And that doesn't even begin to talk about what the Big Ten's going to do.
Yeah.
And Tony Petitti at Big Ten Media Day absolutely said, we are focused on the teams that are in front of me. He said, my edict is to focus on the teams already in the conference.
But also, what else is he going to say?
I would agree with that.
What is he going to come out and say? Hey, we're really focused on blowing up this conference or expanding this conference. He's not going to say that.
And then you look at things like this, where you have on the official Ohio State Buckeye mascot account, verified 30,000 followers. You have a photo of the Buckeye in Eugene with the duck at Autzen Stadium, and the caption is "Big Things Coming." And then you go back to what we reported, I think, in February, that Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal have gotten clearance from CBS, Fox, and NBC, who are the stakeholders in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Mainly CBS and NBC, based on the way that the contract is written, because Fox gets big noon kickoff, CBS gets the late afternoon windows, and then NBC has Big Ten Saturday night.
So obviously this is more of a CBS and NBC issue.
Correct.
Or opportunity.
Because you're not going to have a 10 a.m. Pacific kickoff.
No.
At Autzen Stadium. So that game will never be on Fox. It'll always be on CBS. It'll always be on NBC. I just have trouble believing it's simply just Colorado.
Yeah.
I have trouble believing that.
Yep.
And I just don't think it's the case. Welcome to the membership. Whoa.
Hello.
Scott Rayner. What's up,
Scott? Welcome to the membership, bro. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you for $1.99 a month. You can join and support the show. That gets all of your comments highlighted and read. For $10 a month, you can get into our Instagram members-only group chat, where Tanner Plummer is going to tell you that everybody's wrong until everybody was right, and he was wrong about Oppenheimer, and then he still won't acknowledge the fact that Oppenheimer was, He won't. And he's going to spout off about, it's MLS game day, bro. Well, you know. It just is what it is. Scott Rayner, appreciate your support on the show. Let's see. Who else? Adam Vulture gives us $2 to say save Oregon State.
Agreed.
I agree. Save them. Jason W. for $2. CU admins finally got bucked up. See what happens? See what I'm saying, man?
They got the cojones.
You get that bucked up energy, the official energy drink of the Monty Show. But you guys, get to buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 Monty20 to get 20% off at checkout. They all run together sometimes.
Yeah, you know.
Bucked up. Absolutely the energy provider on the Monty Show. Love those guys. Use promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. Salty Drunk gives us $2.99.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Salty's one of our oldest members, in that he's 97 years old, and he's deaf and blind, but he still thinks the show is amazing. But Salty's been here since the beginning of time. We're at 19,769 subscribers.
Come on, man. Get us to 20,000, bro.
There's 1,581. If we get to 20,000 subscribers by the top of the hour, 45 minutes, I'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
To one random subscriber.
Yep.
I will give away a $100 Amazon gift card if in the next 45 minutes we get 231 subscribers. There's 1,567 of you.
It could happen in the next 2 minutes, legitimately.
There's 1,567 of you watching the show.
Gotta click a button, dude.
Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. I'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
Let's go.
Let's see. Chris gives us $20 to say, I have owed you guys. Cha-ching, it will be Big 12 president, chancellors defining fit. Well, I would agree with that. Chris, always good to see you. Thank you. Jim Hard-Nosed Husky Munson.
What's up, Jim?
What's up, Jim? Jim gives us $2 to say, I have always felt my Huskies have a Big Ten feel. I would agree. And I think academically they fit, culturally they fit, sports they fit. I think they add to the Big Ten basketball profile. I think they certainly, Washington is not arguably, they are one of the best football teams in the conference, arguably the best team in the conference.
That's why I think Washington and Oregon are such a great fit in the Big Ten because, again, they fit right in with those same names, right? Like Michigan, Ohio State, right? Penn State when they feel like, once every 3 seasons being relevant.
Yes.
Like, Stanford and Cal, for me, though you're not adding those to have awesome sports, obviously. You're adding those for academia.
Correct.
And I think it's really smart. And by the way, again, I think the best point that nobody I see on Twitter talking about is the Big Ten's going to need travel partners, right? Just the same way the Big 12 is going to want to work with multiple schools out west so they have travel partners, logistics. Think about that, right? You don't want to just add, like for the Big Ten, you don't want to just add Oregon, or you don't want to just add USC and UCLA and not have a couple more schools out there. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, by the way, we're now at 19,801.
Let's go, baby.
So we need
See
199 subscribers.
Come on, baby.
I'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
Yep.
Let's go. Get it done.
And we're a show of our word.
We have done it routinely on this show. We always like to give back because you guys really take good care of us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Travis Hinton, who's a 4-month member, says, love being a member here. Keep up the great reporting. Appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Who else? We have a bunch of new members coming in.
Let's go, baby.
Darren Jackson. Darren, thank you.
Appreciate you, Darren. Let's go.
Appreciate you. We're now at 19,812.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Keep it going.
Let's go. Edward gives us $5. Say, do you guys disagree with all the analysts at Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford don't bring enough value to the Big Ten? OSU AD Smith also says so. I think Gene Smith at Ohio State is a politician. And I think Gene Smith was making those statements, unless I missed it. Gene Smith was making those statements at a time when you were wondering if you were going to have to reach in your pocket to pay those 4 schools.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the game changer when we talk about these ridiculous vetted and cleared. I mean, when we heard vetted and cleared, and I think if you guys are new to this show, you don't know this, but I'm sure our members are tired of hearing me say it. When we heard vetted and cleared, we had no idea what that meant.
Yeah. Can't say I've ever heard that terminology in athletics before.
That drove us to talk to our sources across television who told us, hey, yeah, the Big Ten came to us and said, hey, we are considering a certain course of action. Would these 4 schools draw an equity share from you guys? Would you pay more to have these 4 schools in the Big Ten? And overwhelmingly, CBS and NBC said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox said yes for basketball. So I think that makes a huge difference. But I think Gene Smith doesn't want to, I believe he talked about slice of the pie.
And remember, Ohio State sits at the top of the food chain in the Big Ten.
Yes, they do.
I mean, they don't have to acquiesce.
And this is Florida State's statements on equity shares.
Right.
Nobody's getting a bigger equity share than Ohio State.
Yeah. And that's how it should be.
And in a conference that is 3 teams deep today, now a year from now, USC is going to change that game, but you're looking at Ohio State and Michigan Michigan's won 2 straight games there, including one at the Shoe. So let's call it to Ohio State and Michigan. But there's no doubt who carries the water in the Big Ten. It's Ohio State.
Facts.
It's Ohio State. I still think Penn State's a damaged brand.
Can you get the nomenclature right, dude?
What's that?
It's not Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
I aim to please.
I don't want to piss off Buckeye fan, you know.
MJ Bissett, what if Big Ten only wants Oregon and Washington? Then the Big Ten's going to get Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
It's that simple. 821, you guys. Come on. 179.
Come on, dude.
There's
can do
1,500
this, bro.
people watching.
Like you guys could literally get it done right now.
There's 1,532 people watching. If just 179 of you hit subscribe, we will give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
Come on.
Right now,
Do
live
it.
on the show.
Do it.
Tom Dean for $2. What motivated CU to move and will motivate others? Well, I straight away I can tell you there's no question that Colorado wants to have a larger athletic profile. Colorado, and Deion's talked about this, Colorado wants to have a lot more importance in the games they play. And Deion's talked about the fact that he wants to win at a high level. I think there's no question that the Pac-12 media situation and the money that Colorado has not made in the Pac-12 was absolutely part of this. I think the pure lack of promotion and execution by the conference to do exactly what Brett Yormark is doing in the Big 12, that's one of the things that Pac-12 fans don't want to hear. Brett Yormark is a sexy dude in that the way he operates and the way he does business is absolutely attractive to all 10 members of the Pac-12.
He oozes competence.
Yes. And he makes money because he sends you to Mexico and to Rucker Park and to Kansas City and to he raised a middle finger to Las Vegas. Can I tell you, every member of this Pac-12 conference is tired of Las Vegas. They're tired of Las Vegas.
Yet here we are again.
Brett Yormark brought in music superstars, Shaq, like all these
Fat
celebrities.
Joe.
Fat Joe had a party for the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. Signs an extension at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. All of those things combined, that's a really good package. And he got a $31.7 million television deal as well.
Yeah.
They're looking at probably $60 million per school per year in distribution. Look at all the money they made on the tournament this year. I mean, it's awfully tough to turn that down.
Yeah.
Edward says, do you guys, I already read that one, my bad. Dustin Mack gives us $5, appreciate you. G. Thomas Holland, any word on Washington Board of Regents, Big Ten things?
I think it's a great question.
I think it is a great question. I have not heard that they have a meeting. I have not heard that. But we'll see. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to think that they are. By the way, we're at 19,838.
Come on, baby. Let's
162 to go. Let's
the train
go.
rolling.
Let's go. Get it done. That's awesome, you guys. I want to give away the gift card. Trust me.
We want to.
Welcome, Jesse Donovan.
Let's go, baby. Oh, yeah, Jesse. Appreciate you.
Jesse Donovan, a member of the program. Thank you. Tom Dean says, and Ohio State. Exactly right. Aaron Wilson gives us $2. I need that $100 for my trip to Provo.
Wow.
Let's go. Scott Rayner, one of our newest members, would love to get both Utah and Oregon State with Colorado, Arizona State. Any reason not to add 5 schools? No reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I think do not leave Gonzaga out of this conversation. I mean, it is, we have reported it for months. Brett Yormark talked about it at the Big 12 tournament.
I like Gonzaga.
He has talked about it repeatedly.
Gonzaga.
He's been asked about it. I don't think there's any question that the prize in basketball on the free agent market is Gonzaga. And the fact that Spokane is in the Pacific time zone helps. I think the shocker is going to be Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the shocker. There is no doubt about that. No doubt in my mind at all. Dustin, Mac, come to Arizona, Southern Dunes round on me. Dustin, what's up?
What's up, brother?
Good to see you. Appreciate, dude. Would love to play. Would love to play. Let's do it. OG Gary, is Utah meeting? Do we know if that's happening? I have not heard that. And Listen, man, I don't think that you can. Are you stuck if you're Oregon or if you're Utah? Are you stuck?
I think in a sense you are. I think you have to make a tough decision, and I think that the answer to that question is complicated because there's not a lot of clarity on just how much they've talked to Brett Yormark, just how, what is the status of Taylor Randall and Brett Yormark's relationship? Is Taylor Randall, in regular communication? Was it a thing maybe going the other way where it's like, hey, they themselves said, hey, the Big 12 is not a great fit at this time? Did that change behind the scenes? Because obviously we haven't had a public update. But I have to think, and again, I always say this because I feel like the Utah conversation goes one of two ways on this show. Usually we'll get, oh, Utah sucks. They're not a national brand. You guys are idiots. And then we'll get Utah fan themselves saying, oh, you guys hate Utah, whatever. And all I'm saying is that Utah is a really valuable brand. There is obviously natural synergy with BYU and Colorado.
There is, obviously.
I think when you look at the Big 12 and you look at college football playoff winning potential, Utah adds to that right away. Colorado does not. BYU does not. UCF certainly does not. Houston does not. Cincinnati does not. So don't tell me that Utah is not a valuable ad because they are. And I haven't even gotten to women's sports. So for me, I look at it and I just say, okay, you lost or are losing two brands in Texas and Oklahoma that are undoubted like college football playoff teams. Or they should be with Texas. You're losing those two teams. So if I'm Brett Yormark, I want to add as many power programs as I can. The only question is Utah in a place philosophically and mentally where they're willing to say, okay, we need to set our pride aside and our affinity for academics and understand that, hey, we need to get to a better opportunity here.
By the way, we're at 19,843.
Dude, you guys are crushing it. Keep it going.
147 more subscribers right now, and we will give away, you've got 34 minutes. We'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card. As we go over the breaking news today, and I see a lot of you commenting. Love you guys. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for supporting the show. It makes it a big difference to us. Blake says Utah is third behind them in hatred. Could be. Starry, how are you? I think it will be CU, Arizona State, and Utah to get to 16 for football. That'd be phenomenal for the Big 12.
Yeah.
I don't know that happens. I really don't know. I just, that will be very interesting. But we'll see. I think it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's really interesting. Bryce Martin, not even enough time to do ads.
Nope.
Well, we've talked about our guys on this show. The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business.
Talked about Bucked Up. Talked about Papa Murphy's.
Yeah. Tri-Day Trading.
Blade
HQ.
Yeah.
BladeHQ.com. 150 to go.
Come on.
100. There's 1,500 watching.
Please.
150 subs will give away a $100 Amazon gift card. iHall. Per Ross, Pac-12 held its own board meeting Wednesday morning where Commissioner Klyavkov provided an update on the media rights negotiations. Sources tell Yahoo Sports. But did they know about Colorado? Am I the only one who thinks this is a big flipping question?
This is USC 2.0.
Yes. Did the Pac-12 Board of Directors know today that this was happening? Did they know?
I don't know, man.
I think it's a very interesting question.
I think there's a lot the Pac-12 Board of Directors doesn't know.
Yeah.
I think that if we do see, as the show title says, a mass exodus in the Pac-12, you can't tell me the Board of Directors knew about all this happening before Media Day, even before today. Like, you just can't know it all.
Ross Dellinger, in a tweet, is saying that Colorado was on a Pac-12 Board of Directors call today, where there was an update provided, and they did not divulge their intention to go to the Big 12.
So wait,
Representatives from Colorado did not reveal any intention to leave or that they had scheduled a board meeting. Holy shit.
Have we seen this before? Because this sounds eerily similar.
I'm telling you guys right now, this is a huge, huge question. And it's leadership. And I continue to go back to this, and I know that you're probably tired of hearing me talk about this. Leadership. In the absence of leadership, somebody is going to fill the vacuum.
Yep.
And you look at the vacuum in this case is Colorado, and they are leading the line to the Big 12. And I know that it's ridiculous and nobody would ever leave this conference. But when you have a guy like George Kliavkoff, and I told you on Friday, the most dangerous thing about George Kliavkoff is he's an embarrassment and he is incompetent. He had to read off a teleprompter, and that's not the end of the world. But when you stick your foot in your mouth about a TV rights deal, we're on purpose not announcing a media rights deal to focus on football. Nobody talked about football last Friday. Nobody's talked about Pac-12 football since then.
Facts.
Everybody's talked about the media rights deal. The dangerous part about George Kliavkoff is not that he's incompetent, not that he can't get a media rights deal, not that he's not liked in the TV industry. You know what the most dangerous part is? He's a god-awful leader. And his absence of leadership has allowed Colorado to get away. If you're George Kliavkoff and you didn't know about this, how are you not fired today?
Facts.
How are you not fired today?
Agreed.
It's over. Do you understand? If Colorado leaves, they're taking people with them. It's over. What is the point of having George Kliavkoff continue as the incompetent ringleader when you have no lions?
Back to the envelope calculations.
And you have no zebras. What is the point? You're going to be standing around chasing a bunch of rabid monkeys who aren't worth anything. Nobody's paying to see Washington State, who, by all accounts, is George Kliavkoff's closest ally in this conference. Nobody's paying. Nobody cares about Washington State. That's remarkable to me that you are now seeing reporting from Ross Dellinger that Colorado has told nobody that they are leaving the conference.
Which screams of need to know basis.
You know what it screams of? It screams of y'all walked around with blinders on.
Yeah.
How did you not see this? Are you telling me right now that George Kliavkoff's not on a private jet to wherever Bobby Robbins is? Because you better keep that guy in the conference. You lose Arizona, this conference is dead.
Yeah.
If it's not dead now, you lose Arizona, and this conference is dead.
Yeah.
It's over. If you lose Arizona.
Again, my main point is if you're the other 9 and you're looking at the opportunity of the Pac-12, what's the positive? What are you excited about?
I don't know what you're excited about, but I go back to the conversation yesterday that pissed off just about everybody on Twitter.
I think it's a great point.
Who went after me and said that I was, like Utah fan's gonna Utah fan, right?
Yeah.
Because what did I say yesterday? I described a phone call we had yesterday on this very program. An amazing phone call with a frustrated communications director in the Pac-12 who was upset I tweeted about Apple and the Pac-12, who had admitted the conference is working to, quote, better control the narrative. This conference is a mess. That is my tweet. Look at the timestamp, July 25th at 11:47 a.m. after a communications director in this conference called and chewed my ass over this. And you're telling me that, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, apparently we do.
That's the untrained eye.
Apparently we do.
Yeah, I hope you don't have too much Harper in there, Slick.
By the way, we're at 19,856.
Come on, baby.
144 to go. 1,600 people watching the show right now. If 144 people hit subscribe in the next 27 minutes, I will give away a $100 Amazon gift card. I'll do it. I have no problem doing it. We have been working hard to get to 20,000 subs. Would love to get it done. That would be an incredible thing to do
Yes.
today. Adam Vulture for $2. Big 12 already has premier Utah school, BYU. Well, different show, but hey, there's no doubt the value of Utah University, the University of Utah, the Utes football program, the Utes women's basketball, softball. Like, it's a power institution.
You need to understand that BYU and Utah are two different opportunities to a conference. You need to understand that they're in two different positions, that they are in two different timelines, and that BYU is not going to be in any kind of danger of winning anything anytime soon, respectfully.
I agree.
Utah, however, can take your conference to a national championship game.
Big Bad Brass Balls says $100 gift card. What happened to a PS5?
I mean, get us there.
Get us to 20,000.
Get us there. You want a PS5? Fine.
Get us to 20,000.
Get us there. Let's go.
Big Bad Brass Balls, we get to 20,000. Maybe I'll give you a PS5.
Yeah. Get it done.
You know.
Yep.
Hey, man, there's nothing I won't do. G. Lee gives us a $5 super sticker. Big shout out to Tim Gillespie, our newest member.
Let's go, baby. Welcome to the membership, baby.
Love that. Hero 75 for $5. Don't know if you guys caught this or maybe I'm reading this wrong, but on Cal Board of Regents have a closed door meeting tomorrow as well.
Just saying you're starting to see things pop up, right? So again, this is what we said. Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. Any confusion? What
is the California Board of Regents control? Well, that would be California University, Cal Berkeley. And this goes back to UCLA subsidizing Cal, and will the Board of Regents let UCLA walk away, go to the Big Ten? No, they're not going to let them go. Well, apparently that's not the truth either, George, because as we told you on this show, the Board of Regents was never going to try and stop UCLA from going.
You have a deal.
It's not surprising to me. I have not seen that. I've not seen it. Dustin Mack for $5. Yes, Utah would be a good ad, but it would be the best poetic justice to see them left out looking at the Big 12 stickers, passing them on the I-15. Dude.
I agree. It would be poetic.
But this has been a plague on this whole conference. The arrogance, and for those of you who don't know this, the arrogance and the absolute shoveling of dirt on the BYU supposed grave when BYU didn't get into the Pac-12. And the billboard that went up that said this is Pac-12 country. And the mocking of the LDS Church, and of which I am not a member.
But wait, I thought you were a Mormon and you're old and you're going to die soon.
That's what a Big 12 fan told me. But anyway.
Okay, I'm now getting DMs about us giving away PS5.
Well, hey, we can talk about it, man. We're not at 20,000. We're at 874.
Yeah, let's go.
126
in
to
the
go.
comments section. Let's go. Get it going.
126 to go.
How many do we have right now watching? What's we 1,600? Come on.
1,580.
1,580. There you go. Let's go.
Lopes fan Gabe, I swear to God, if Grocock shows up right now. Corey, the kid's name legitimately, Corey Grocock showed up when we were at like 1,000.
Dude lives in Australia.
Shows up on the show one day and is like, I want the PS5 or whatever, Xbox or whatever.
He literally rolls into the comments and says, Monty, dude, if I can get 50 people to vote for me to win the Xbox, will you send it to me? What happens? 50 people voted in the comment, yes, give it to him. So we sent it to him.
Yeah.
Never to be heard from since.
Yeah, it was amazing. How about a new member, though? Liam Rolfe.
Let's go, baby.
Love it, you guys. Appreciate all of our members. Thank you. Big Bad Brass Balls says, come on, you guys. 20K is nothing. I want a PS5.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, you only got 121 more subscribers to go, and then you get there. It's fair. If Brett Yormark acquires Colorado, it appears he has declared war on the Pac-12. Fredo got capped on a boat, and so is the Pac-12.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
I know it was you, Fredo. You know where that's from, Jake?
Godfather.
Oh, okay, good. Cal meeting is about appointing a new chancellor, Corey Erickson says. Could be. Absolutely could be. Listen, I think it's awfully difficult now with Colorado going not to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't.
You have to.
I really don't know how you don't. And if you don't, I think you're derelict in your duties.
Yeah.
I truly do.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you know.
Yeah.
Nicholas Crees gives us $10. Is there a chance Oregon and Washington see the Big 12 as home for 5 years for the next round of Big 10 expansion? I don't think you're joining a conference to join a conference. That is a bad look. And if there's any indicator of that, Colorado and Nebraska, I don't think there's ever been two better examples.
Yeah.
Because both of them, since they left the Big 8, and it's been a disaster. Colorado's been awful. Nebraska's been worse. The money that Colorado has lost joining the Pac-12 is remarkable. Remarkable. And you're just, 12 years later now?
Yeah.
That was 2011?
Yep.
I mean, you're just 12 years later, and you're coming back to the Big 12 now. This is just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's all this is. Let's see. OG Gary, how about a vote between Brass and I for the PS5? Well, get us to 20,000.
You gotta get to 20,000.
We're a little ahead of it. See, 883 now.
I mean, you gotta get us to 20,000.
19,883.
I mean, we're almost under 100 here.
117 to go with almost 1,600 people watching.
20
the show.
minutes to get the job done.
20 minutes from now, if we are at 19,000 or at 20,000.
Yeah.
Are you going to say it out loud?
Get us to 20,000 first. You know what? I'll do what Tony did in the Big Ten.
Oh, God.
We're focused on what's in front of us.
Yeah, get us to 20,000, and then we'll tell you we're giving you a PS5.
Then we'll tell you you're getting a PS5.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Caleb Aylmore, our newest member.
Let's go.
Appreciate you. Sparshem gives us $2. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Let's get a couple of your, because we read a ton of comments on the show. If you're new to the show, interaction is a big deal for us. Tom says, who gets the credit for destroying the PAC, USC or Colorado?
Oh, there's no doubt it's USC.
It's Carol, not USC. It's Carol Folt.
Yeah.
The president at USC.
And
this
no
is her
talking
doing
about it, dude. And that's amazing to me that no one's talking about it.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Remarkable. McKay Boyle gives us $2. CU going to be BYU's new rival. And I know Utah fans hate when I say it, but hey, dude, Colorado and Utah have had some real tilts in this league. Tom Gillespie, Monty actually pronounced my name right. That rarely happens. Bank teller called me Mr. Giuseppe today. Wow.
What?
Where's the Italian?
Mr. Giuseppe.
Mr. Giuseppe.
Awesome. We are at 880. Guys, we're crawling.
Come on.
Come on. We need a big jump. 115 to go, and we'll give away a PS5.
Like Colorado, we need a big jump. Let's
there's
go.
There's only 16 minutes left in the show.
Let's go.
You want it? Journeyman Southwest says, what does this mean for rivalries in the Big 12? It's really interesting you bring that up because I think rivalries in college sports are a big problem. Because they're going away. I mean, you look at Bedlam in this conference. How is Oklahoma State in Oklahoma, and how is the mullet, Mike Gundy? He claims he doesn't want to play Bedlam. He doesn't need Bedlam. Well, half of me says, well, that's because Bedlam's not been good for you for about a decade.
Bedlam's been kicking your ass every year, dude.
Right?
Come on.
But if you don't have OU, Okie State, whether the Pokes win or lose, who cares? You need that game. You need BYU and Utah. You need Oregon State. You need the Civil War. You need
them in the same conference, dude.
This is what we talked about with Jim Harbaugh yesterday on if he's overrated or not. You look, he's won 2 straight games, including one at the Shoe. Before that, it had been a decade, bro. Like, it had been forever.
Yeah.
That had been Ohio State's game. It's much like it's Utah's game.
Yeah.
But we need them. We need them. There is no doubt. For me, anyways, I think it makes it.
Yeah.
I truly do. And Donuts gives us $5. Great show today. Have a great weekend. Golf fun. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you very much. We are huge golfers on the show, by the way. So we love that. We are at 19,887. We're not going to get there.
We're not going to make it, dude.
We're not going to make it.
And that's, and then unfortunately, that means you guys are going to lose your opportunity.
It's too bad.
It's
too bad, but that's fine. Let's run through comments because this show's been about you today. You guys have been flipping amazing. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Brian P., our newest member.
Hang on here. Hey, there There we go.
Hey. Brian P., welcome to the showroom. Appreciate all 20 of our new members that we picked up today. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Jeremy Lindley, you guys rock. Just subscribe. Go Big 12. Boycott the NFL for domestic violence. Well, there is that. We
do talk a lot of NFL, and season's almost here, man.
Mick A. gives us $5. BY says that the TV contract is only 60% of its value. Add another 40% to the $32 million, and that's got to be a pretty enticing deal. Well,
yeah.
But you look at Mexico, you look at Big 12 Pro Day, you look at the idea that the Big 12 added a commercial division, which means they added a sales operation to make sure that they were always generating revenue.
Yes.
That tells you where their minds are at. If you look at the difference between the Big 12 and the Pac-12, the Pac-12's been surviving. The Big 12's been thriving over the last 12 months. The Pac-12's just been trying to figure out how to get a TV deal. Well, the Big 12 got their TV deal, and now they've done Mexico and Rucker Park and Dallas and Kansas City, and they're doing all of this stuff to serve their membership. They're extending their reach. Reach always means more eyeballs. Reach always means more money. You put more eyes on it, you get more money from your corporate partners, right? You know that. You look at the fact they have Big 12 football media days.
Yeah.
It's Pac-12 football media day, and it was a disaster. You look at the event.
Which turned out, by the way, to give you credit, turned out that wasn't too harsh.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
It was absolutely a disaster. I mean, but Mick, I think that's an excellent point. I truly think that the difference in this conference is that the Pac-12 has been standing still, and you're getting $32 million, man, and you add 40% to that, that's a lot of bread, dude. I'm telling you, the number is $60 million this conference is going to distribute.
Yes.
$60 million. Tom Dean, this episode should go to overtime. Well, where are we at on subs? We are at, oh my God, 19,897, 103 subscribers. There's 1,489 people watching. 103 subscribers.
That's it, dude.
We'll give away a PS5 in 14 minutes. That's what I'm saying. Sparsh M. Been watching from 4 live viewers to 15K for months. It's time to sub. I will try to be 2K sub. Also, I would just settle for a PS5 controller. You know.
Bro, I love that comment, dude.
A PS5 controller.
I love that.
That is remarkable. Did I mention Brian P's a new member?
Yes, you did.
I did.
You did, yeah.
Brian P. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Trying
Brian
to make sure we
P.
shout everybody out. Comment dump. The Tater Man just jumped on. What's the scoop today? Any news? Nah, bro. Nothing. Boring ass show
dude,
today.
It's just a YouTube hack show. There's nothing going on here, bro. Nothing, dude.
Nothing going on.
Colorado's not going anywhere.
The Monty Show, as always, is presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. They are working with a company, an organization, called The Road Home, one of the foremost homeless advocates in the country, to provide basic needs for kids who are homeless so they can go to school. And that's a Venmo address right there, Advocates Donations. If you have $1, if you have $5, $1 million. If you have it in your heart to donate to kids who, one of the major things that kids need, one of the biggest asks through this project is socks and underwear.
Crazy.
Because there's so many homeless kids who don't have underwear to wear to school, don't have socks to wear to school. Think about that. Not pens, pencils, notebooks, calculators, backpacks. No, underwear and socks. It's amazing. The Advocates are phenomenal, you guys. You've been in an accident. They're the best workman's comp attorneys in the business. Theadvocates.com. Chat with an attorney live online for free, 24/7, 365, because you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates. You don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Theadvocates.com. By the way, we're at 19,905.
Come on now. Okay, now we're cooking. Now you've got my attention.
95 subs away.
You've got time. 12 minutes.
95 subs
12
away.
12 minutes.
Ruff's official. Wait, the worst team in the PAC is possibly thinking about leaving. Yeah, that's all this is. That's all. You guys, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. Landon says, how do you subscribe on the YouTube app? You just click on the Monty Show icon.
You need to be logged in to your account.
Yes.
You need to have an account on YouTube, right? So you need to make an account. And then once you do that, you come back to the show, and there will be a subscribe button. That's all you got to do.
Yep. Patrick Bourne, what's up? 19,905. Yes, 19,914 subscribers.
Let's go. See, now you guys are back on the train.
86 to go.
Let's go.
10 minutes to go.
Come on, flex. Let me see what you
10
guys can do.
minutes to go. If we get 86 subscribers, we'll give away a PlayStation 5.
I want it.
Jet Wayman, Ruffs is hating as usual. Nothing to see here.
Well, give the guy credit. I mean, he's on brand.
Yeah, Ruffs Official is on brand.
Yeah, dude.
Let's see. Jeremy Callahan, at J. Russ, Big 12 is the hardest path to the playoff. Big 10 is the easiest. If you don't know that, shake my head. I would agree the Big 10's the easiest.
Yeah,
I think the Pac-12.
SEC is only playing 8 conference games, though.
I think the Pac-12 is almost impossible to go to. You look at the schedule this year, nobody in the Pac-12 is going to the playoff.
Yeah.
Because it's too difficult. They eat each other.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Jay Russ, Oregon in the Big 12, so they have an easier path to the playoffs. Dude, I don't think the Big 12 is going to be an easy path to the playoffs. I truly do not. I really don't. Who do I need to vote for? Yourself, Patrick, because we're...
Yeah, see, the problem is Patrick's already set.
9:25.
Let's go. See, now you guys are on the train. See, we're
75 to go.
10 minutes.
75 to go.
Come on.
Kelly Parks, Landon, head to the description. Instructions there. Let's go.
Let's go. Get it
Let's
done.
go. Elaine Tran, a lot of Bears on today. Indeed. Tanner says, L take Ruffs. That's Tanner's new thing. I said that Oppenheimer was mid. The movie was a 4 out of 5.
It was not Nolan's best work.
For a Nolan film, a Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah.
It was good. It wasn't great.
Right.
It wasn't Interstellar. It wasn't Inception. It wasn't The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It was good. IMAX, it sucked. It was not great. And Tanner's like, I'll take fat ass. Yeah, well, it might have been. Mark Alexander, I live in Cincy, would love to see Arizona come to Nippert. Well,
on to Cincinnati.
You might get your wish there, dude. Cincinnati needs to become a basketball power again.
Yeah.
I think Satterfield, you're in good shape with Scott.
Yeah.
I enjoyed talking to him at, Big 12 football media days. Journeyman, how good does it feel that you guys were right this whole time? I don't put much into Twitter trolls. Yeah, it fucking feels great. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think, the thing with it is that it's, and we talked about this yesterday on the program, nobody understands how much work goes into this gig. It's not just doing the show. The show is the fun.
Not just doing the show.
The show, to be honest with you guys, the show, like this sub count thing we're doing, that's one of the most fun things we can do on the show, right? Like doing the show is by far the most fun part of the day.
Yes.
And I think that what people don't understand is that there's a lot of work that goes in it. A lot of phone calls, a lot of idiots calling us like yesterday, like, a lot of haters that spew negative energy. And we're at a point now, and it's because of you guys, where we don't need to pay credence to that anymore.
Yeah.
It's an inevitability that this show, A, is the biggest sports talk show in Utah. B, we're getting to a point now where we're starting to compete with shows that are, or really, products on YouTube that were much bigger than us. But because you guys watch for as long as you do, you tell YouTube that we have a good show. Yeah. And for that, I cannot thank you enough.
Seriously. We are at 19,931. 69,
Come on now.
bro.
Come on, bro.
69, bro.
69, bro.
Infamous Montoya, I'll be happy with a dozen donuts. If we get to 20,000, I'll give you a dozen donuts.
Okay.
Kevin Roy Cope, see you, Colorado. The PAC doesn't want you anyway.
Oh, here we go. See, I've been waiting for this.
But I would love to hear from Pac-12 fans today, because I know we have a ton of Pac-12 fans that watch this show.
In opposition.
If you lose Colorado, okay, I would agree that's not a death knell. But I think you're going to lose Colorado, Arizona, and Oregon State. I think that is, you're done. If you lose Arizona alone, and I'm hearing now that there is absolutely going to be an emergency session of the Arizona Board of Regents, hopefully tomorrow, but they're at the latest Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose Arizona, you're done.
This is a code 10 abort.
And I think you're going to lose Colorado and Arizona, and I think there is a good chance that Brett Yormark's going to add Gonzaga and Oregon State, and he's going to shock the world.
Yeah.
I truly I do.
Yeah.
Truly I do. But hey, that's just me, and I could be wrong. I freely admit it. Landon, our newest member.
Let's go, baby. Hell yeah,
Let's
welcome.
go, Landon. Appreciate you.
Can we get an update on the sub count?
Sub count is at 19,934.
Okay.
5 minutes to go.
Yeah, see, you guys have slowed down here.
It's probably
now.
not. It's 66.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it, which is fine.
It's
you
cool.
guys have been amazing.
Yeah.
New Bobby Robbins. Now Bobby Robbins follows Ralphie. Okay.
Okay.
Sparsh for $1.99. Vote for me for PS5. I will share my controller. Exactly.
We're in a control position.
Corey Erickson for $2. This show is now a highlight of my day. I appreciate
you, bro. Thank you.
Sparsh also says for $2, good job proving me wrong, being a great journalist. And I think people don't understand that we work really hard. We don't single source anything.
Yeah.
If somebody says, hey, this is what's happening, we go and get another somebody to say that. And it's not always easy to do that.
Yeah.
It is not always easy to do that. Yeah, we're not going to make it. We're at 936. So we'll see.
Great push, dude. Great push.
Great push.
Great
you guys.
push. Honestly, great
Phenomenal. Let's read through some of your comments. Curtis says, I've been right for over a year. I agree. Renee Roca, what's up, my guy? Per my sources, Barbie is good. I don't know if I can go see Barbie. Jacinho says, just joined. I'll be good with a PS premium membership. Okay. Well, we're at 936. 4 minutes to go.
you guys can do it. I mean, again, we have the viewership right now to do it.
Yep. We have 1,365. You guys, we need, what is that, 64? We need 64 new subscribers to give away a PS5.
Yeah.
Elaine Tran, if I win, I'll give to the homeless kids, Monty. Well, you should give to the homeless kids anyway. Justin Weir, I'm going to see Oppenheimer to see him get some Schloppenheimer. Justin. Oppenheimer's a good movie. It's a 4 out of 5. It is not elite. It is not amazing.
It is a disappointment by Christopher Nolan standards. It is not,
absolutely.
It is not Gladiator, or it's not Inception or Interstellar, or.
I agree.
It's just not on that level. It is a good movie. It is a go watch it, must see. It's not his best work.
No. Tanner says, I'm going to die on this hill. Oh, boy. Donovan McNabb's the best quarterback ever. No, wait. No, sorry.
Dude.
My bad. Oppenheimer was one of Nolan's best works.
Okay, first of all.
With that said, it was not better than Dark Knight, Interstellar, and Inception.
Learn how to spell the dude's name.
Yeah,
please. It's not Nolen. Okay,
Yeah.
And I love you, bro. I love you. But if you're gonna criticize or if you're gonna back dude up, like, come on, dude.
2 minutes to go. We need 60 subs. 60 subs. Ruff says Colorado isn't the end of the pack. It's not.
I agree.
If it's singularly Colorado, you're fine.
Yeah,
the pack will be here. I don't think it is. Moth Prof says Sparse is bringing the LOLs. I don't disagree. So I actually think Oregon State is Colorado's partner to the Big 12 simply because most of the schools that matter besides Oregon State and Utah have called for meetings tomorrow.
Right?
Oregon State already had their meeting yesterday. There you go. Patrick Bourne, Monty, when 20K, my vote goes to Elaine Tran. Okay. Amy Peterson. Hi, Amy. It's not just Colorado leaving. I don't think it is.
I agree with that.
I don't think it is. Darling Deb, I've done sports radio and oil and gas job. It's a lot. Yes, it is, Darling Deb. This is our only gig. This and being shitty golfers. And being a shitty golfer is way easier to accomplish than getting the 20,000 subs. All right, we're not going to make it, but I am going to give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
Okay.
Because you guys have been amazing. I am simply going to pick one of our new members today to give a $100 gift card to. Who was the best comment or a new member? I think we go with Whoa, we didn't even read K-State or an ABQ.
Bro, let's go.
Let's see. And how about this? Jim Hard-nosed Husky Munson, new member.
Let's go. Bro, where have all these memberships been?
I missed it.
They snuck in here.
I apologize. Who was the best commenter today? I'm going to go with Sparsh M. I'm going to go with Sparsh M. Sparsh, you get a $100 Amazon gift card just for being on the show today, just for contributing to the show. But you guys, today's been a massive show, obviously.
Mm-hmm. What are the numbers? Let's share. Can we give some numbers here?
Here are the numbers on the show today. We have had 10,473 views. The average view duration on the show today was 32 minutes and 39 seconds. We have 707 likes.
Bro, let's go.
And 19 new members.
Appreciate you guys.
That's unbelievable.
Come
you
on.
guys, I appreciate you. If you are new to this show, thank you for being here. Please consider supporting our sponsors. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. Obviously, without you, we couldn't do what we do. The Advocates, theadvocates.com, they are working to help homeless kids get back to school with the basic things they need. If you have $1, $5, $100, there's their Venmo address right there. Advocates donations. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Bucked Up Energy, the official energy drink of the Monty Show. In the description below, go get yourself 6 free buck shots, 6 free buck bars as well. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. TryDayTrading.com. Go get yourself a $10 30-day trial membership. Did you make $1,000 today at work? Well, if you didn't, you should go to TryDayTrading.com. And Papa Murphy's Pizza, promo code Monty25. The last subscriber update, 19,945. Fucking right.
So
you
tomorrow,
guys are amazing.
Come back tomorrow. We'll get it done tomorrow. I can guarantee you that.
Are we going to give away a PS5?
Yeah, probably.
All right, we'll count it down to 20,000. Yeah, what the hell? Who knows? We'll give you something. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. The Monty Show, as always, is presented by The Advocates. UtahAdvocates.com. Say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.